Oh, who's excited for a big few days? I've got Rochelle here, myself on the big screen, which is exciting. Hello, hello! Look at you all. There's so many of you on here from all over the world. So can I ask, who's got the book? Who has got the book and given it a crack, given it a start? Who's enjoying the book? I'm so I'm so thrilled, so humbled with all of the feedback we've been getting and everything else. So we're going to have such a great event. Thank you all so much for your support at the book and support with this work and changing the world. It's really quite something. It's really quite something to see people to realize that they're powerful and not broken. And it's such a revolution. Really, it really is. And so I'm thrilled that you guys got the Kindle version, or you got the physical version, or you got something to be able to get this book. And I hope that you get this book into as many hands of people who need it, because it's really big. So I want to say a big welcome to all of you here for the Magnetic Mind 3-day event. I'm more excited for this event than I have been for any of the ones in the past, obviously because of the book and everything else we've got going on, but just because of the amount of people that are here. So welcome to all of our new people out there in many different places watching this that don't normally get to be at this event and be with us. So a big welcome, big love. Welcome to our tribe. We do this event 4 times a year. And it's basically the same content every single time, except we all change and evolve. So the people who are coming through it, every time they come through this event, they're seeing it through a different lens, seeing it from a different perspective. And I change, I evolve, and so it always comes out just a little bit different, or better, or maybe sometimes worse. But it's a lot of fun. Now, I just want to ask, have you all been able to get a copy of your workbook? A workbook. I sent it across to you, so you should be able to get a copy of the workbook. Now, if you don't have a copy of the workbook, or if you don't have a printer, no dramas at all. I got the workbook up here behind me, so I'm going to be going through it on the screen. For some of you, that might be too small. So you've also been given it in a format that you can actually you can actually write on with your computer, or you can just have it there as a PDF. Okay, so you all got sent it. Now I'm going to ask one of my team, which you'll find in the chats. They'll have CEC in front of their name, or if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, they'll be the one that's about to post in now. And could we post in the links? We'll post in a link to download the workbook as a black and white, like I've got here, because I don't desire any need to print it in color. So you can print it in black and white if you want. So mine's in black and white. If you want to print it in color, we give you that option too, if you want it in color. And also, it's fillable online. It's fillable online. So it means that you can click it. It can open up on your computer, or your phone, or what have you, and you can type directly into the notes boxes. Does that make sense? Everyone happy with that? And the reason why we did it, this way, was because if we sent a book out to every single person, that's a huge amount of time, huge amount of cost, and also most people don't even really want a physical book. They prefer to have it online and all sorts of things. So we just thought we'd give people the option, and and it's much better. It also allows you to print off more than one copy. So sometimes you go to a workshop and then you lose your book. So in this instance, you actually have a copy you can print as many times as you like. So you can either have it online, you can just sit and watch it with me, or you can print it off. So that's really good. So I really want to make sure that you guys have that and that you're all ready and that you get the most out of the next 3 days. So for those of you that are out there in the book launch group, let me just check that you guys are all live and it's all good. There they are. I can see that you're all there and it's live over on Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everybody in the book launch group. And I'm so thankful for all of you. So welcome out there. If you're over on YouTube, welcome to all the YouTube live streamers. I can see all of you out there. I think right now, let's look. How many people have we got on in total? Got 185 over on YouTube. I can't figure out how many are on Facebook, but there is a lot of people commenting. So that's great. And then 450 here, or 15 here on Zoom. So all up, a really, really, really good start and a good number. A big shout out to all of you, and I want to say thanks. My book publisher, blown away by this community and the support of this work, and I am so humbled. I'm so humbled. They weren't expecting more than 1,000 copies of this thing to sell. In fact, they said, you know, Chris, a good launch is 300 or 400 sales of a book. I said, well, I've got SUPERCONSCIOUS and a group of absolute maniacs on a mission who are 100% behind the most important book in the personal development world. And guys, we are knocking on the door of 5,000 sales. 5,000 sales in just 2 weeks. And I just got chills saying that, because that is a lot of families, a lot of hearts, a lot of people who get this. But you know what? It's not even close to where this needs to go. You know, the Secret is sold over 200 million copies, and this is just as important, if not more important, than that book. So we do need to keep getting the book out, and I'm thrilled to be here. So welcome to our world. Welcome all the people that are joining us because they got the book and they're on this. And then finally, a humongous welcome to my Magnetic Mind tribe. I see there's now 426 of you on here, and I love you with all my heart. It is so great to find my tribe of maniacs on a mission who really want to understand how they can tap into their innate gifts, their innate power, their innate genius, become super conscious, turn thoughts into things, because it really is an absolutely amazing system once you get it. So look, who wants to get the most out of this weekend? You know, you want to get everything out of it. Let's get straight into this. If you know me, I'm not one to talk around something. Let's get into it. Let's get going. Let's have some fun. Now, if you are watching this on YouTube or you are watching this on Facebook and you didn't get the book, the requirement of being able to watch in on this was you did buy the book. So it's $1.99 on Amazon. So it's just good karma. Buy the book. It's $2 and then be here. But I'm not going to be checking up. I just assume for $2 people would really want to have the book. So I'll leave that up to your good hearts to make sure that that's what you do. So look, let's get straight into it. We'll move forward in our workbook, and let's talk about how to get the most out of this weekend. So that's straight on page number 4. Let's go. Let's do it. The most important thing is that you get what it is that you want to get out of this. Do you agree? You can have this workshop be whatever you want it to be. You can be something that you just have sitting on while you just do your normal things. You know, you can have this workshop be absolutely transformational. You can just sort of dabble. You can say, oh, Chris, I've been in your program for a while. I'm just here to support others. You can do whatever you choose. But here's what I ask. I ask you play full out. You know, we're going to go through a lot of things. Some of the concepts are going to be deep. Some of the concepts are going to be, revision from the book, a lot of revision from the book. But you'll be able to ask questions. We'll be able to go deeper. All I ask is you play full out. So what that means to me is that, you know, you're going to take control of where you're watching this from and how you're going to get the most out of this. So I would assume that you'd want to tell your family, you want to be, you know, in your own quiet space, maybe in an office or something like that, where you can just get the most out of it. So play full out, be in the right environment, be ready to do it. The number 2 thing there is take loads and loads of notes. You weren't the same person this time around that you were last time. So take lots of notes, and I'm not the same person. So there'll be lots of distinctions, there'll be lots of things going on, but take notes, and do take notes in your book. That's why we've made it fillable. You'll find if you go to your version of this book, you'll be able to write straight in here. It's really nice when you want to review who you were or where you've been, that you're able to go back to the book and you're able to actually see what you were thinking at the time. Ask questions. We will be doing breakout sessions at the end of each day. Ask questions. There's a Q&A box here. I have Rochelle Ware, who's sitting next to me over here, but she's also on Zoom, who can answer your questions. There's a Q&A box here on Zoom. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, ask questions, be involved. We're not able to get to all the questions, but it is good that you put it out there. For those of you in the masterclass that are here with me on Zoom, we're going to be doing breakout sessions at the end of each day. And that's going to be a time where you can get together and network with others that are in the tribe. Unfortunately, those of you who are just viewing in as part of the book launch or part of YouTube, we're not able to organize the breakout rooms for you guys as well. Technology wasn't able to do it outside of Zoom, so you guys won't be able to do that, but masterclass people will, so you'll get lots of time with that. Everything is a learning. So as you go through this, I'm going to be doing work with people one-on-one. I'm going to be pulling people out one-on-one. I'm going to be working with them in front of the room, in front of the group. It might be you that I work with. We're going to be going through some deep work. But the thing is everything is something you can learn. And, great saying is wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. So the way that you go through this is the way you do life. And the way you're being right now is the way you do life. So really just acknowledge that. Be responsible. Be responsible, meaning number 5 there says be able to choose your response. Be able to choose your response. Be able to know that if you're feeling tired, grab yourself a coffee, get up, move around, make sure you're hydrated. You want to get the most out of this. I can't control what you're up to. Does that make sense? I can't control. So I need you to be responsible and be open and ready to get the most out of it. Does that make sense? The next thing is be coachable. I want to really share this. I'm never going to try to tell you that I know what's best for you in your life. I don't have your experience. I don't even have the life on the planet that you have. I don't have your skills. I don't have your knowledge. And I don't know what's right. And so I'm never going to try to tell you how to do life. That's ridiculous. What I am going to do is help to coach you to become your own creative essence, to step into a new orientation. And you must be open to allowing me to coach you in that. I'll share some of my results that I've been able to manifest, and then many of the other people that we've been able to help that are maybe here in this group or out there in the world. And what I do know, I know how to help you tap into your magic. Never for a moment do I want you to think that it's me doing this. I'm going to teach you. Who likes the sound of this, by the way? I am going to teach you how to connect to your superconscious and work with it yourself. I'm going to show you how to get in the correct structure so that you can go out there and do it and be with it. Now, those of you at our Magnetic Mind Masterclass, you know that we catch up multiple times a week. We do this 4 times a year. And I know it takes a while to assimilate to it. And you do need the coaching, and you do need to have someone there holding you to that standard. Does that make sense? You do need that. So the next thing is, please, just for the weekend, park your old learnings. So just leave other things behind. At the end of this, if they make sense, you can bring them back. Okay, so number 7 there is park your old learnings. Let them sit, and let me explain what it is that I've found from looking at a lot of the things you've probably looked at. At the end of the weekend, no stress here. You take what it is that you want to take from it. You take what you want to take from it, and you do that. And that's it. You find out what is true for you. Does that make sense, everyone? Find out what is true for you. I'm going to give you what's true for me. You take it, you obsess about it, you think it through, and then you take what's true for you. All I need you to do for 3 days is just to leave all the other stuff behind for a minute so you can really absorb what I'm talking about. Is it a deal? Is it a deal? I don't mind. I don't mind what you choose. You're powerful. And so you get to do what you want to do. Between now and then, let's just try this way on. Hey, I mean, you've bought my book. You've decided that you want to try this on. And if you have a scientific mind, the only way to truly know if this will work is to go all in without the judgment. See, I want everyone here. Can everyone here please be an open-minded skeptic? Can you all be an open-minded skeptic? Does that sound good? Be an open-minded skeptic. Be open-minded, but be skeptical. The only way to be an open-minded skeptic is to be trying out new things to the full, but also be skeptical that it's really anything other than what you've heard before. I promise you, if you're an open-minded skeptic, by the end of this weekend, you'll realize you're never going to need another course again. That's my guarantee. My guarantee is if you're an open-minded skeptic, if you try everything on that I talked about over this weekend, you're going to realize that it's the most comprehensive, practical, action-orientated system for you to connect to the highest part of you to shift any limitations and create what you love. Guaranteed. But if you don't allow yourself to go and be a part of this, then you're gonna block anything from even being available to you. So a good scientist knows that they must test their hypotheses fully. So that's our hypotheses, and I want you to test it. Hey, if you're scientific, you got to test it. You got to test it. So number 8 says get outside your comfort zone. There might be things here that are uncomfortable for you to do. Let's go. Your comfort zone is really just what you've already done, ground you've already covered. So if it's uncomfortable, it means we're in new places, we're doing new things. So that's great. Number 9, embrace frustration. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about intuition. We're going to be talking about how to muscle test. We're going to tap into different parts of us. And we're going to do recode. It might frustrate the heck out of you. You might think, I'm not smart enough to do this. I don't know how to body test. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what this is. This is too far out. This is crazy. Embrace that. Embrace that. If you stick with me, I'll show you that everything I'm talking about does not contradict any religion, does not contradict any universal laws. In fact, it is the most simple way to understand the whole lot. And you will see everything that I teach and anything else that you subscribe to. So embrace the frustration. Frustration means you really want to learn something and that it's right here for you. So embrace that. And number 10, get committed. Get committed, because stepping onto the edge of your true nature, stepping into the place of your creative spirit, becoming a creative warrior, becoming someone who understands that they aren't broken, that they are super conscious, and that they're connected to the all. It takes a commitment. We're going to talk about our fall from grace and our limited perspective today. We're going to talk about how that showed up and how we must be committed to overcome old patterns. But it's not that we're broken and that we need to fix that aspect of us. So I guarantee today is going to shake a few of these brain cells or a few of these patterns or structures you may have had. So who's excited about the 3 days? Today's about structure. And structure is 80 to 90% of success, being in the correct structure. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the recode. And the recode is the fastest way to train your brain to let go of limitations. And then on the 3rd day, we're going to talk about your true choices, the wisdom process, and everything about that. So it's going to be a big 3 days. We're going to go for about 5 hours a day. Okay, so we're already 20 minutes in. So we'll go for about 5 hours live with me today and tomorrow and the next day. It starts at the same time each day. I may go over time. Who knows me? I may go over time, but it won't be that much. I may go over time, but it won't be by that much. So we will allow for that. At the end of each day, there will be a break, and then we'll be doing breakout rooms. Breakout rooms are a fantastic way for you to meet other people, and it's only available for the masterclass paid clients. If you're in the book launch group, you might organize your own get-together. However, with 3,500 people, by the way, can we get some love for 3,500 people registered for this event? We just simply weren't able to get the technology together to figure out how to get 3,500 people into different Zoom rooms. So we're focused on our 12-month masterclass clients. Make sure you get that. There will be 2 sessions masterclass clients. There'll be one straight after this event finishes, which will likely be far too many people, far too late if you're in the UK, or maybe even if you're in the East Coast of the United States. So we've created a second breakout room, okay? Yes, certification masterclass, same thing, tribe, yeah. You'll know. We've created a second time, which will be, it's all in your itinerary for those of you who still want to do the breakout room, but you're maybe in London or Europe or New York and those places. So it will be in your morning. And you can attend both of them if you like. So a little bit about me and a little bit about where this all came from. In 2009, I was running businesses and having a really, a hard time right after, the financial crisis. And I had a huge breakdown in my life. I ended up nearly dying. I ended up in hospital with a snapped femur and a blood clot in my lung. And really, really in a bad way. It was very difficult to snap your thigh bone in half. And I sat there in this hospital bed and started to ask myself, what's life really about? What I really want to do? And I had to really look at everything and think, what's really, really important to me? What is it that I want to do? And I realized that the way that society was doing life wasn't going to be the way that I wanted to do life. It always felt like I was pretending to do something anyway. Like I didn't understand why you would go and do something that you hate for the majority of your life to then only be able to spend a little bit of time doing what you love. It didn't make sense to me. In fact, I got kicked out of high school because it didn't make sense to me. The reason why I left high school was I had an argument with my teachers. Why would I need to turn up to class if I was passing the test? And so they said, you have to turn up to the class. I said, I'm passing the tests. Why would I bother turning up? They said, you have to turn up. It's the law. And so I said, well, I'm leaving. So I left and I didn't really understand things. So, as I'm lying there in this hospital bed, a decade later, I was sort of revisiting all this going, well, what's this life about? Everywhere I looked, I just saw people worshipping money or worshipping success or worshipping something else. And I just realized that's just not true. And those of you who've seen the picture of me back then, I had big orange dreadlocks, and I was a rebel, I was just a big rebel. And I laid in bed and I just started reading books. And I had about 9 months where I couldn't walk. And I just started reading books and started to expand my mind and wonder what's out there. And this led me down a really beautiful path, which led me here. And it started out by me realizing that there was many other ways to live life. It wasn't just, work for 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life and then hope you have enough to then figure out what you love to do and that you're just basically a slave to the system. And there was another way. There was other things out there. And what I found is that everyone told me one thing. In order to have what you want, it's all about the way that you think It's all about the way that you oriented the words. It's all about this. And so what I came to the conclusion of was, well, I need to go to courses and read books and, like Think and Grow Rich and the magic of thinking big and, all of these different courses. And I found my way into Anthony Robbins seminars and then into NLP and hypnotherapy under one premise. And I want to ask, has anyone else figured this out, that in order for you to create what you want, you must change the way that you're thinking. In order to do different things, you got to be different. What I realize is in that I thought there's a common denominator here, and the common denominator is the way people are thinking, the way they're going. But I got something slightly wrong. So I went to all these courses, and each course would start out basically the same. They would say, if you want this, this is the way you need to think. This is some stuff you need to fix about yourself, and here's some other education. And by the way, this is going to cost you a lot. And then you need this, and then you need this, and then you need this thing, and then you need this, and now you need this certification. And everyone I met kept on saying, well, I have this certification, and I have this instruction. And so I went around everything, guys. I did NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I did EFT or tapping. I figured all that out. I've done Reiki. I've done all of Anthony Robbins seminars, as I said. I've done Money and You, Matrix Energetics, EDMR, Motion Code. Had tons of life coaches. I went to retreats. I changed my diets. I've done meditation. I studied in depth with Joe Dispenza, Gregg Braden, Bruce Lipton, Lynne Mctaggart. I've done Power of 8 circles. I was chanting. I was incanting. I was doing everything that you needed to do. Who's done this, by the way? Can I just get some yeses if you've done this too? You keep going. I'm obsessing about Abraham Hicks and the law of attraction, and I'm got the right crystals, and I clear my house and the right energy, and just everything. And my life did get better. It got better. And I was able to create some success, and it felt good, and that was awesome. Yet it always felt like I was fighting myself. Has anyone felt that as well? You feel like you're fighting yourself. It's like, whatever, there's, and the question I have for you is, who's fighting who? You're like fighting yourself. It's like, oh, I've got to be different. And there's always something else you're not quite doing. And, you have to kick yourself up to get out of bed early, and you need to have this and you need to have that. It was just, it was just a lot. And in 2016, I got featured in a movie with Anthony Robbins, Dalai Lama, and, Jack Canfield, and a lot of really, big names. And I was one of the people interviewed, and it was a really special moment, something I've been working to for a long time. I built a successful business, and I got to be in this movie. And it was very unfortunate. About a month before the filming of the movie, my business partner and best friend, Mark Deason, was killed in a motorcycle accident in Bali, Indonesia. And it really just shook my life up. What happened was he was in control of the finances, and he was the other half of the business, really. So when he died, one, I didn't have the person that I built the business with. Two, he was actually my mentor, who, when I broke my thigh, started giving me books. And three, I couldn't deliver on the services that people had already paid us for. I didn't know where the money was. I didn't have access to the accounts. He was my best friend, there was no problem. If he didn't die, the money got sorted out. So it was very difficult. We lived in different countries, so we didn't have our names on the accounts and things like that. It was very difficult. So I ended up in this place where really good clients of mine were really unhappy with me. I was really unhappy. I had 48 staff. I didn't know how to pay them. I'd also lost my friend, and all this is going on. And I really wasn't coping very well. My whole life kind of just fell apart. And I don't know about you guys, but if you've done a lot of work on yourself, and you kind of, I've got this all sorted out, and then, all of a sudden things fall apart. My wife's just bringing me a coffee. Could you give me water?
You bet I can.
Yes. And that's Harriet, my wife. She'll come say hi at some point. And I remember thinking, how have I, how have I created this? How is this so bad? And I lost my identity because I was no longer the successful guy. It all fell apart, and it was really tough. Hey, and what happened next was very interesting, because I was in the movie, and because I was surrounded by so many great, healers and coaches and all these people. And I love them. And I massive shout outs to all of them. They all reached out to me and they said, hey, can, sorry, just 1 second. Thanks, Raj. They said, Chris, we see you're in a bad way. Take my healing session. So I did. I started taking healing sessions and going to courses with all these people. And I want you to hear this. I was shocked. Because I was in this movie and I knew some people were doing big things. I knew them behind the scenes. I went to their courses. I took about 6 months off. Everything fell apart. I just took time off. And I got coaching from them. I went to their courses. What they were teaching others to do was directly in contrast to how they lived their life. It was not true. Second, every single one of them came in and wanted to fix and heal and coach me. And they were so excited about it. It was like it was so exciting to them to try to fix my grief and my trauma and all these things. And after a while, I just went, there's something wrong here. Here's what was the most shocking. There were people at those events that had been going to those events since I stopped going to the events. Think about this. They were just seminar personal development junkies, and they just kept on going and going and going. And I thought, why are you still coming to this? And why is it that I haven't seen you for 5 years? I've gone and done all of this. What's going on with you? You still, and I say this with love. I'm like, you've been going to personal development for 10 years and you're still overweight and single and broke. Like, what the heck's going on? And I know, and I love them, but I'm like, and I know you don't want that. I know you don't. So what's really here? Because you can list all the courses off in the whole world, but let's look at the real world here. Like, what have you actually been able to achieve with all this? And I was shook. I was shook by this, and I'd see them, and they were the same people, and I was blown away. And then I'd see the new people coming in, and they'd tell me about all these courses they were doing and all these things. I say, cool. Well, what have you changed in your life? What have you actually been able to do? And there was nothing there. And it was really quite eye-opening. I went, holy, like, what's going on with this? Hey, I was like, what's going on? Why is it that all of this obsession, all of this is there? Why isn't it that I can't go to a course and every single person in the course is saying, yeah, look at my life. Look what I've created. And so I decided in that moment, I was like, I'm going to figure this out. This is crazy. I'm going to figure this out. There has to be a way to overcome your limits and create what you love. And within a week, I was introduced to a lady named Colette Stryker, and she changed my life. She said to me, Chris, I got this amazing new process, and I can show you how to become super conscious and let go of that trauma. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard it. She convinces me to do it. I was the most open-minded skeptic you could imagine. I was like, no, I don't want another one of these. Look, I'm over it, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, she does the session with me on my grief of my friend dying. And I'm like, I don't think that there's any way, whatever. All right, let's do it. She teaches me super conscious, which I'll teach you tomorrow, teaches me about it, how it works. And within like 4 minutes, I am laughing my head off. And I said, what the heck did you do? What it felt like, she just said some weird commands. She said, hey, super conscious, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is wacky. Haven't you guys all done that? Right? What does he mean? Hey, super conscious, like, what is that? Is he praying to something? and so it was wacky. And then within 4 minutes, something like popped in my awareness, and I could no longer access the grief. And I was like, I can't. What's just happened? So what I said to Colette, I said, look, I got to have that. I got to know how to do this. And she said, well, I really need help with business. So we made a trade. I said, I'll help you with business and you teach this to me. At that time, Colette had never done more than $3,000 in sales a month. She now has a 7-figure business. And over the next 2 years, I traded business knowledge and she taught it all to me. What I found over that 2 years was that I'd done so much work in the superconscious. I was so just happy and loose, and nothing was a problem, but I wasn't living fulfilled. The biggest problem, and we use recode, or part of what Colette taught me here in step 4. What I found is I had to stop, and I had to stop the work with her because it was so focused on just clearing any tiny bit of negativity. Does that make sense? That's all it was about, clearing everything. And my problem was that I cleared and cleared and cleared, but I didn't really know who I was. And I didn't really know what I was here to do or what I was here to create. And so like magic, along walks the only other person in the world teaching superconscious stuff. His name is William Whitecloud. He teaches superconscious intuition and how to connect and understand what is true for your heart, find your true meaning, your true purpose in life. And guess what? He walks into my life, the same conversation as Colette happens. I end up helping him, and he intimately teaches me everything he knows. I go to all his workshops, and it blows me away. I learned how to be intuitive. I learned circle work, and I've got so much gratitude to both of them. When I started to think this through, I added on top of it a really little known secret called structural tension. And that is from Robert Fritz, that tension seeks resolution. If you can structure your life in the right way, manifestation is easy. And I created these 5 steps, and I decided to put them to practice. Within 1 year, I built a $5 million company. I bought my dream home on the water, exactly where I wanted to live. I married the love of my life, Harriet. I created this method and was 100% achieving everything I wanted with ease. Then something amazing happened. I'm sitting in the field, and this is how I got to meet all of you. And I get this intuition that I have something amazing and I need to teach it. And I remember sitting there going, I don't need to teach this. Everyone else can teach it. I'm not a super conscious guy. I just learned, not me. But it was persistent thought. And this persistent thought was put on a seminar, put on a seminar, put on a seminar. So I told, so I'm gonna do this seminar, and I'm gonna teach magnetic mind, which was my name for it. I'm gonna teach these 5 steps of superconscious creation. And Colette said to me, you can't do this to groups. She said, you can't do it to groups. My other coaches, people, they always said to me, Chris, you'll never make money in personal development. You're blah, blah, blah. You're this, that, just stick to what you're doing. You've got a great thing, all these things. But it was just true that I needed to do it. And I was so nervous. And who's seen the video of that day? 2019, I brought 2 women out on stage, and I did the recode in front of the group for the very first time. Who watched that video, by the way? What you don't know is I'm beyond nervous. I have my notes in front of me, and I am clinging to the edge of creative manifestation, going, I don't know how this is going to turn out. Everyone told me that's not a good idea. And I did it. That video has now been seen by well over 10 million people, and it birthed the movement. It birthed the movement. I put the seminar on a couple more times, and we did hundreds of thousands of dollars of sales into our Magnetic Mind Masterclass. And here's what I want you all to really, 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 really get, is that all of a sudden, I had done the impossible, and I was teaching people they're not broken, that they are powerful, and that all these things were there. And it took over my other business, and it's become my main thing, my main thing. It's become absolutely amazing. Over the last 2 years, we've had some tremendous results. I've had people type in about magnificent healing journeys. For example, we've had one man who has led the path. His name is Dean Adams. He was blind when I met him. He can see now. He'd never done personal development, never done any work on himself before. He done this course, and he worked with his sister Julie in this work. I've had people email me in who couldn't walk, who can now walk. I've had people email me in, and I won't share, any of their details, but cancer, diabetes, tumors, allergies, just everything that you could imagine. And they've sent me in x-rays. They've used this work to realign with the magnificent inside themselves, remove all resistance to a true end result, and then create that. Unheard of, nothing I ever thought would happen. The amount of millionaires we've created because they no longer have resistance to being a millionaire, in the hundreds. It is unbelievable what happened. And so about a year ago, I had to write the book. And I wrote this book in 5,000 sales in its first 2 weeks just by telling a few people on my email list. Absolutely unbelievable. Which brings me here, which brings me to you guys and to these 5 steps. You might know these 5 steps, they're in the book. And that's why we're here. What we have is the first combination of ancient Hermetic principles, universal wisdom, and then scientifically backed neuroscience that actually shows you what you can do, and the most cutting edge combination of intuition and transformation. This is a freaking big deal. So these 5 steps, number 1, we're going to show you how to choose what's true for you. Choose what's true for you. Choose to choose what you really, really, really desire to create. Once you're in that end result, everything changes. See, the second thing is creating structural tension, getting into the emotion of the end result, unplugging any resistance, and then taking aligned action. The biggest problem is most of us have been trying to create an outcome for years, and we still don't have it. And here's the problem with the problem. The problem with the problem. It's funny, isn't it? Here is the problem with the problem. Well, let me put it a different way. The personal development and self-help and healing world does more bad than good. It does more bad than good because it creates an identity inside of someone that they must fix, heal, or change themselves in order to create a successful life. And this was what I saw, and this is what I want you to get before we even get into the coursework today. You must enter with the right orientation. I'll explain how it works. Typically, someone has a current reality, CR for current reality, that they're dissatisfied with on some level. So they say there is a desired reality that I would like to have, and they say this desired reality is better. Is it true? They would like their current reality to be that desired reality because it's better. Is it true? That's what they believe. They say that's better. Now, as soon as you say that's better, you say this is worse. You say what you have now is worse. So what do we say is better? We say being healthy is better. We say being rich is better. We say being in love and having people around us are better. Those are some things we all say are better. And we say, well, I don't have health. Instead, I have illness. I'm ill. Instead of being rich, I feel that I don't have enough. I'm scarce. Instead of love, I feel lonely or isolated. Now, it's not all. I'm not saying all. I'm just sort of helping you see the difference. So here's what happens. In the current reality, you also have an identity. We use ID for identity, but it really doesn't feel like the I is taking up much of the, much of the weight here. Current reality, those are two different words, but identity, that's just one word, and D stands for dentity, and the I is just the I. That's all it is. Anyway, identity. So that's how we do identity. ID. I feel like the I is not pulling its weight. Or that I think the D is really a workaholic and has taken on way too much responsibility in this acronym. So we have an identity, okay, and the identity, it has a view of how the world is. So the identity says, well, the world is this way. Now, in the desired reality, your identity says, well, the world is this way. So let's take money, for example. This identity lives in a world where it's rich, and this identity lives in a world where it's scarce. And this is where the problem comes in, because these two identities are not equal. Does that make sense, everyone? The identity that has always lived in one of these, or the current reality identity, does not live in the desired reality's identity. Does everyone see that? That does not equal. Give me a yes or a thumbs up if you get that. Because this is where all the challenge comes from. This is where all the challenge comes from. So what happens is, as you try to move your current reality from ill to health, or from scarce to rich, or from lonely to love, as you move, your identity is happy for you to move a little bit. And then at some point, your identity gets freaked out, because the way you have set this up is that if it was to achieve this desired reality, it would have to die. The way that the identity has set this up is that the way I am now has to be completely killed if I'm to achieve that. And the reason why it never works is your identity, who you are, the way you think about the world, bases all its safety on how the world is, on what's true. It does not want to give up everything that it believes to be true, because that's what it believes to be safe. So here's what happens. As you get about halfway towards living a new life, the identity throws up distraction. It throws up a distraction, an uncomfortable feeling, a family situation you just have to deal with, a financial stress. Suddenly, you just don't really know if you want it anymore. Demotivation, procrastination. Who's got a list of what the identity does to sabotage what it is you want? It will do whatever is necessary to ensure that it keeps its worldview. Are you guys following this? But its number one way it does this is it does it through negative feeling. So as we're going for something, we get doubt, unmotivated, we get fear, we get worry, we get scared of judgment, rejection, ridicule. All this stuff somehow bubbles up into our consciousness. Is it true? And what do? We go, oh, I'd really like this, but I feel scared about it. I don't think the right way. I'm worried about losing it. All these things come up. I'm just not motivated for it anymore. I'll change. I'll go and I'll change and change and change and change and change. So we let that take hold of our attention. And what do? We take this negative feeling, and instead of going for what we want, we take this down and we try to fix or resolve that negative feeling. We try to fix it or resolve it. So let me ask you, what do? Are you like me? You go, oh, I really want to do this. Oh, I feel really stressed about it. So I need a vacation. I need a course. I need a healing. I need to change my diet. Oh, I really want this. No, it's not me. It's the business opportunity. I need to change to another one. Oh, I don't really know if I want to do that anymore. Nah, she's not quite the right person. Oh, he's not right. This not right. Who's seen themselves do this? You're going for something, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you have to go solve something else. And so then what happens is you do fix this, hey? Because as humans, we've figured out a whole heap of different really cool things like Psych K or emotion code or EDMR or EFT or recode or all sorts of things. So we go and fix it. And then we feel good again. You know, we go, oh, this is a new relationship, or this is a new diet, or this is a new this, or this is you know, I went and did a bunch of hypnosis. I don't have that problem anymore. But guess what? We go do that. We still haven't changed our current reality, and we start again. We go out on the new relationship, new diet. We go with the new fixed mindset. We go at it again, and guess what happens? We go with the same identity, but here's what happens. And this is what I saw in all those seminars. Recode's in there, Jamie. This is what happens. We then, by doing this, create an even worse identity. And the identity is this. I can't have what I want. Can someone type this in for me? I can't have what I want without fixing myself. I can't have what I want without fixing myself. I know that you can't read that, so could someone type it in? I can't have what I want without fixing myself. And this becomes a bigger identity. And here's how it sounds. I can't just have what I want. Instead, I have to do some weird, incantations. I have to write things down. I have to meditate. I have to do a thing a certain way. I can't just have it. You see? There's a thing in an Anthony Robbins seminar, by the way, where he gets you to try to fix a negative belief. And the way he gets you to do it is you swing your hand around, you say the negative belief out loud, you say, I really want to be rich, but I don't feel worthy. And then you have to say it again and put your finger up your nose. And if you haven't been to one, that's a real thing. Who's been to the Robbins seminar knows he gets you to do that. I did it, and so do another 3,000 other people in the seminar. Everyone's saying, yep, you do it. And what are you doing when you do things like this? You're saying, I have to trick myself. I have to, what am I tricking? What am I doing? You see? And we do, and that's just a funny example because I've been to tons of his courses. And by the way, he changed my life. I just think it's funny. And so what I realized is that the core premise behind all of these things, it's a pattern interrupt. I know how it works. But the core premise behind all these things creates an identity that you're not allowed to have what you want the way you are. You're not allowed to just go and have it. Instead, your life is about overcoming things. Buddha said the last thing that a human being will give up is their struggle or suffering, because without their struggle or suffering, they won't know who they are. Let that sink in. Without your struggle or suffering, you won't know who you are. It's the last thing. So, before we begin, if you put recode in this structure, you'll just end up creating that you need to fix yourself. In my my intro video, it's really quite humorous to me, but in not a way that you'd like. In my recode, I say to everyone, I say, I'm only working with these two women. Don't apply. Don't do this at home. It's just a demo with these two. Did anyone hear that? And I say, don't do it. I'm only working with these two. So if you're in the audience or if you're watching this, don't do it. And then all these people say, ha ha ha, he said don't do it, but I did it anyway and it worked. Yeah. And I always think to myself, I'm like, I wasn't lying. You've missed the whole pre-frame, the whole talk before this, and you've just put recode with the next thing that's there to fix you. And you've created a stronger identity that is going to cause more problems than if you just listen to me, because why would I say something that's not true? Doesn't make sense. They all think that I was saying it to try to avoid them just doing it. No, I'm doing it because until you're in the right structure, structure has integrity. And I'm going to talk a lot about structure. Until you're in the right structure, you're just going to create the wrong identity. Does that make sense? And they don't understand it, but they're too busy thinking that there's someone out there that's trying to manipulate or lie to them, that they don't just listen. They don't just listen. And it's sad. I have to delete comments every day on YouTube where someone says, oh, hey, recode starts at 50 minutes in, or I did it anyway and it worked. Don't listen to this charlatan. He just wants you to buy his stuff, blah, blah, blah. Every day. All right. That's sad. That's sad. So what must happen? What must happen is we must be in a different structure. You see, this structure here is an oscillating structure. What will happen is you start off by saying, my future will be better. Okay, that's what causes the whole structure. And we'll talk about this today. The structure starts out by this will be better, meaning the way I am now will be different when I have this. And this is the common denominator in every failed manifestation. Every failed manifestation says, when I have the money, oh, it will be so much better. When I have the relationship, oh, I'm going to meet my soulmate. My life will be completely different. If I could just have the body of my dreams, then everything will be better then. I just need the new house. If I just work a bit harder, then. That structure is a setup that will never allow you to have that. And the reason why you can never have it is because it's in direct conflict with your identity. And your identity doesn't want to die. And so it's a setup. See, let's say that you want to have great health. When you're in great health, you're not focused on creating great health. You're too busy grabbing a mountain bike and racing down the hill, or chasing your grandkids, or running along the beach. If you're somebody who is already in good health, you're not sitting there thinking, well, what do I need to eat? What do I do? Warren Buffett, one of the richest men on the planet, and he didn't change the way that he is. He eats McDonald's every single day, drinks Coca-Cola. He's in his 90s. He's worth billions of dollars. He seems to be a happy and cheerful guy, as far as I can see. When you look at successful creators, they didn't focus on trying to fix themselves. They were too busy creating it. They were too busy creating. You see? Too busy creating. So structure is the most important thing. If you can't be it now, you'll never be it in the future. Many of us really deny this statement. We're going to have a little bit of a bathroom break in a second. But I want you all to write this down. You must be it to see it. You must be it to see it. Instead of, when I see it, then I'll finally be it. You must be it to see it. Write it down. You must be it to see it. So many of us give our power away to something else. When I have money, then I can feel abundant. Bullshit. Bullshit. If you can't feel abundant now, when you have a moment, when you have the most precious thing available, which is you're a conscious energy living a human being in 2021 with access to the internet and all the amazing things. If you can't find the feeling of abundance now, you will not find it in a few extra dollars or a few $1 million in your bank account. I promise you, you'll feel you won't be able to have that because you haven't practiced being it. Does that make sense? You won't be able to, because you've got to be it now. This identity here in the current reality identity must equal the desired reality identity. Identity must equal. You must be it to see it, to have it. You must already be it. If you can't find the feeling of absolute joy of being in a body that has breath in your lungs and you have a moment to experience, and the health of just being here now, if you can't experience health now, if you can't experience a life you love now, you're not in rapport with the end result of a person who's living with health. So many people who want to have a health transformation. I'll share this with you. You ask Dean, and Dean and I worked relatively close together. Never, ever, ever, ever did Dean and I say, hey, let's fix your eyesight. We never did that. Do you know what we did? I said, what kind of life would you love? He said, I'd love to chase my grandkids along the beach. I'd love to be able to work on computers again. I'd love this. I'd love that. So we focused on what he would love. And guess what? In order to have that, he had to be able to see. So we never fixed the problem. We were too busy creating. He said, yeah, I'd love to have great time with my grandkids. I said, right, let's create that. And even when he couldn't see, he would have them round. But in his end result was him being with them. And so what happened? He gave the correct instructions to his body of the end result he wanted, and his body responded to be able to give him the ability to have that, because he's super conscious, you see. You don't focus on the money, focus on the life, focus on that, and then we raise to the right level, which is when we talk about being step 3 in the emotion of the end result. Okay, we're going to talk about that more. So structure. You must be it to see it. You are not broken. You are not broken. You are super conscious. So let's just talk a little bit about what that is, and then we're going to have a short break. Can I just ask, by a show of hands or yeses in these different chat box, is how many people are enjoying today? Who's having a good day so far? Who's using their time well? I hope so. I'm thrilled to share this with you. Changed my life. I spent so long just trying to, do everything the right way and have the perfect beliefs and the perfect mindset to do everything right. And then when I gave all that up and just realized that I'm a creative energy, and I don't have to do or be anything other than Chris Duncan to create what I want. It's just magic. Just magic. I just created it, and I just chose it, and that's what I wanted. And it's quite funny because you guys are so part of that manifestation. It's unbelievable to me that, well, it's not really, but it's unbelievable to the old me that I have over 3,500 people, 3,500 people that think enough of me to say, I'd like to come and learn about consciousness from you, Chris Duncan. That's crazy to me, okay? I know, Tila, no, of course we want to learn from you. Look at your results. But to me, that is an absolute miracle. That's a bloody miracle. I don't know how that happened. When I first went to my big seminar, one of my big seminars, I saw Tony speak, and he had 3,000 people in the room, and I went, wow, imagine if I could do this one day. It's magic. So let's talk about a little bit about the superconscious. So we're going to cover this more tomorrow. And by the way, we're going to start the seminar in a second. We're going to start the workshop in a second. We're just getting ourselves ready so that you don't enter this workshop and put this work in another I need to fix myself box. Does that make sense? We're going to do one last thing, and then we're going to start. Because until you're in the right structure, you'll just be reinforcing the identity that you need to be fixed again. Isn't it true? And many of us, because we're so used to that structure, that's actually how you've placed magnetic mind. And that's okay. We're so brought up in the structure that we must find things to fix, heal, work out. This is going to fix me so I can finally have what I want. Does that make sense? So this is why we must make sure we're doing this. Okay, so this what I'm about to share with you is a beautiful diagram. It comes from an amazing lady named Simone Wright, and I really love her. I've worked with her as well, and she's got a great book. This is her diagram. I think it's a really beautiful way to describe it. And so, I just wanted to give a shout out to Simone. So we have 3 different levels of consciousness. The bottom level of consciousness is our self-conscious. Our self-conscious lives in that's terrible. Even I can't read that. It's limited. Is that much better? Self-conscious, limited. One moment while I do some artwork. got nearly 4,000 people watching me not color outside the lines. Oh! Even Rochelle's laughing at me. That was my only goal today, Rochelle, is to hear you snigger out loud. That's my only goal. Okay, so it's limited. The self-conscious lives in polarity. Okay? It lives in polarity. Now, polarity means that there's a good and a bad, a light and a dark, a heaven, a hell, a left, a right, a up, a down, a polarity, okay? But your self-conscious, which you may call your ego, okay, you might call it your ego. I'm going to call it your self-conscious. It's your identity. It's a part of you, okay? So this is identity, self-conscious, identity. Identity. Anyway, it's your self-conscious identity, and it lives it lives in polarity. Okay, it lives in polarity. It has to live in polarity. Polarity is when there's 2 sides of the same thing. So hot and cold. Okay, left and right, up and down. And this self-conscious lives in that world where there is a bad or unwanted and a good or wanted. Is it true? Your self-conscious says, this is good, this is bad. True? Everyone happy with that? Good and bad. That's how it lives. It says, these are things we like, this is what we don't like, and it's all relative to what we choose. Okay, so that's where it lives. The problem is as we've all experienced, this is like a pendulum. And the pendulum swings back and forth. If you try to create out of the self-conscious good and bad paradigm, you will always experience a pendulum. It's kind of like if you have hot soup, it wants to become cold again. If you have cold ice, it wants to melt and become warm again. Make sense? It's going to swing because pendulums always want to find rest at the balance point. So if you think having lots of money is good and you're like, that's good, that's good, that's good, your identity will swing you back, you see? If you try to create out of the self-conscious, you will always find that pendulum swing. True? Who's experienced a pendulum swing, by the way, where you're like, I want this, and then it comes back, and then you always end up somewhere in the middle. Okay, so we must not create from that place. There's nothing broken or wrong about your self-conscious. In fact, as you'll learn later today, if we didn't have the self-conscious limited perspective, we couldn't experience a human journey. If we were not limited in some way, if this wasn't the end of me and the start of the computer screen, wherever it is, there, if that wasn't limited, I couldn't experience me and the computer screen as a computer, you see? I would be the all. So without this, we couldn't have the journey we're on. So there's nothing broken about what I'm saying. See, when I say this, sometimes people go, well, it's so broken, there's no good or bad. Oh, no, you need that. You need to experience polarity. In order to experience love and true bliss and true abundance, there needs to be the possibility of the opposite, which is sadness that someone goes and hurt and everything else. Does that make sense, everyone? So there's nothing broken with this. It's just not the place we should create from. True? It's just not the place we should create from. All right, so the next level up, I call the unconscious. You might call it the subconscious. I don't mind. The unconscious is always seeking balance. This down here, your self-conscious, is your thoughts. Okay? Balance is your feelings. The unconscious is looking to create balance. It wants to keep, and I haven't really drawn this very well, it wants to keep this balance point going right through here. So it is the balance point. The unconscious is where it stores all your automatic processing of how the world is. And then your self-conscious tries to go and, get more and always returns to that balance point. The thing with the unconscious or subconscious, the aspect of you that you can program and train and then continues to run, is your unconscious was developed between ages 0 and 4. And then by age 7, you were here. So your unconscious is programmed with, well, it's actually, it's not really 0. It actually is including conception and pregnancy. But anyway, we'll write it accurately. Conception to 4. That's when your unconscious is being programmed, understanding how the world is. We'll talk about this a lot today, how the world is. Most people don't escape how the world is. And I'll give you an example of this. Many people can go make a heck of a lot more money, but they still live in a frustrated worldview. Many people, who's experienced this? You go and get something new, like a new relationship, a new house, a new car, a new job, and it's good at the beginning, and then it just becomes exactly the same. The unconscious won't let you experience feelings that are outside its balance point. Is it true? This is why that absolute rubbish idea that you must feel abundant to make money, that's why that premise doesn't hold true. If you've ever heard someone say, you must feel abundant to make money, that honestly, they just haven't thought it through. And here's why. How many of you know at least one person who has a lot of money and they just work their butts off and have no abundance? Every doctor, every lawyer, every obsessed entrepreneur. I wouldn't say that they're in abundance. Some of them are super, super stressed. Some of them are really negative. Really negative. In fact, my fund manager that I invest money with, he is boring and negative and never spends any money, but he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He's not abundant at all. In fact, I know people who earn $40,000 a year that have more fun and freedom and abundance than him. Does that make sense? So the reason why I say that is because you don't have to listen to all these things. You don't have to be anything other than you to have things. You see, you don't have to listen to some millennial life coach sitting on a hill in Bali going, yeah, you need to feel abundant, and then you need to, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, how much money have you actually ever made in your life? They're like, oh, I made 6 figures in business revenue with no staff, and I spent $40,000 on Facebook ads, and I really need you to buy my course so I can pay for my $2 meals here, while I live in abundance. It's just not relevant. It's just not true. So the unconscious is always creating balance, okay? Then we have the point of balance. That the unconscious is just programmed, okay? This is just programmed. And programmed is just an English metaphor we're using. It's not super accurate, but it's good enough for now. This comes from the superconscious. Superconscious, and this is, I just love this diagram. It's Simone, it's modeled from Simone's. It's just so good. This is the superconscious. The superconscious is infinite information. It's infinite information. And you have one point in the ocean of infinite information. I want everyone to understand this. You are not the all. It's impossible. You are one aspect of the all. You are one viewpoint of the all. You are the drop in the ocean, and without the drops, there would be no ocean, but you're not the ocean. You see? You're one perspective. Now, the great thing about this, at the superconscious level, is you can change the perspective. You can change the information. I just like to put it in the middle because it looks better. You can change the information up here. When you make the shift at this level, the shift gets passed down to the unconscious and it becomes the new set point. The new set point becomes the balance point of what your self-conscious will rest to. No fighting. You just go up here, you recode, you reset it, and you bring it back down and experience it. The superconscious does not care what it experiences. Does that make sense? It doesn't have a good and a bad. Does that make sense? It doesn't have a good or a bad. That's your self-conscious. The superconscious knows you're an infinite source of creative energy, an infinite source of information. You'll be around far longer than this one experience you're having. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care that you believe that having a healthy body is better than an unhealthy body. It says, hey, you've got a body vehicle. Are you using it? And if you want to use it for something else, let's tune into what we want to use this body vehicle for. The superconscious cares more about what you're doing with what you're given than this good and bad situation. It's superconscious. You want to create change in your life, focus on what you're going to do. Your superconscious and your body will respond in alignment with that which you want to create. When you be it, you will see it. What the it is superconscious. When you rise up to here. Now, these are just different layers of the same thing. Okay? Last thing before we have a break. Everyone going good? Everyone hearing me? Someone says no volume. I'm not sure why. Everyone can hear me? Everyone's good? Last thing. Who's loving it? I hope you guys are loving it. I hope you're loving it. It's the same thing. So your physical reality is like ice. Your physical reality is like ice. If you heat it up, it turns to water. But it's the same thing. If you heat water up, it turns to vapor or a cloud. If you cool it down, it turns to water. And if you cool it down even more, it turns to its physical reality. So here's what we do when we do the superconscious work. When we do the superconscious work, we're down here trying to keep something in one way. All we do is we rise up to where it's more fluid, and then we rise up. Up here, it's really easy to change things. It's up and open. The alchemists have an amazing metaphor that says you turn lead into gold. What we don't realize is that the alchemy is saying gold actually has the most energy and the electrons are the most open. What alchemist is actually saying is when you transform your life from lead to gold, it's from density to openness. When you move from this stuck in one place ice can't move. Ice is stuck in one place. It is what it is, but you can stand on the ice. You can be on it. It's solid. You can hold it and move it. It's solid, but it doesn't stay the way you want it for very long. So you must rise up, but trying to change just being in your feelings can go anywhere. So you go up. When you're up in the cloud of all possible probabilities, you can shift and move things around. You say, well, I'm going to bring this down. You see, when you're vapor, you can also join with other clouds. Who's looked up at the clouds before and seen two clouds come together? Yeah? Who's seen that? Who's seen two or three? They come together easily. They just blow together. They blow apart. Well, that's right. Let's say you want to come up here and you want to add in a little bit of a different experience. You can do it up here. You can't do it down here. You can't do it in the physical. You got to come out into your truth, into your mind. So, look, we're going to have fun today. We're going to have fun today. We're going to have fun this weekend. So we'll go into our first break. I'm on. Let me just show you where I'm on. Getting full use of this board. We've talked about that. Where this is, we've really talked about this. You're not broken. You are the powerful creator of your reality. When we come back, we're jumping into the journey to superconscious living. Now, before we have our bathroom break, there are going to be some giveaways this weekend. And the giveaways are going to be for people who have really listened and understood and post some of their key takeaways on social media, and you post it out there, hashtag you are not broken or hashtag magnetic mind. We'll be out there watching. So on the break, you might want to write down a few things you really love. You might want to post it out there. We've got all sorts of giveaways coming your way. I won't be talking about that just yet, but they're amazing and they're worth $24,000. We're giving away over $24,000 worth of things this weekend, which is bloody exciting, I know. And what I'd like you to do is to be ready for the giveaways and everything else. You just need to have prepared some of your top takeaways, okay? So just have them prepared. So from this first hour and a half that we've done today, maybe you just want to jot down your top 2 or 3 things you really, really, really loved. So I love you. The time right now is 30 minutes past the hour where I am. We're going to have a 10-minute break, okay? Enough to get a glass of water, heat up a microwave meal, throw the cat or your kids some food, Do what you need to do and then be back. If you hear me talking, we're back. Okay, so it's 1/2 the hour where I am, and at 40 past the hour, I'll be starting again, or in 10 minutes. Has everyone got it? Feels good, Rush? See you in 10. Awesome. Hey, I can see YouTube. Let me just press mute on YouTube. See you in 10 minutes, YouTube. All right. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Are we back in? Let me know what have been some of your big takeaways so far from our intro start. Love. The structure to change the madness, Ingrid. All of it, Sarah, yeah. Be it to see it. Zen, I've been stuck in ice. I'm not broken. Cool. Nice. Love the water metaphor. Me too. Structure. No more fixing or healing. Oh, I love it, Scott. Scott's got it sorted. Beautiful. All right, cool. So I think we're all good to go. I think everyone out there in the book launch group can hear me, which is great. Cool. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, that's some good feedback. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for all of that. All right, we're going to carry on. Hey, shall we carry on? I hope you can all hear me, which is great. Awesome. Okay. So I'm on this page here in your workbook, page number 10. Page 10. Now, if you're over there on YouTube, I highly recommend you join the Facebook group. The Facebook group, you're going to get a lot of interaction. So would one of the team on the YouTube channel, would you post a Facebook group? This is being live streamed into that Facebook group as well. That's the best place to be to make sure you have a group and support and everything else. I can see right now that there is 114 on YouTube, which is fantastic, 119 now. And I'm so glad that you guys are out there and getting this. You will definitely enjoy being over on Facebook, unless you're a person that hates Facebook, and then stay right where you are on YouTube. That sounds like a good plan. Sound good? So we'll, if someone, yeah, you can watch it on YouTube or on Facebook, but definitely Facebook is where our team can support you a bit better. All right, so let's carry on, hey? Let's carry on. We're going to talk about this diagram, and you've all got it in your books. And however, because it's a little bit difficult to see, I'm going to draw it out. Okay, but you've all got it in your books. It's on page 10, and obviously those of you who know Joseph Campbell's work, you can see the relevance here. So this is very important to know where you are in order to know where you're going. We all start out as a pure creative spirit. This is where we start. Our essence is we are, made in the image of. We are a pure creative spirit. We're here to create. In fact, you created a body, you created an identity, you created everything. You know, you are a creator. At the absolute essence, you're a creator. At this place, you're connected to the all. You are the all. You are connected to the all. You are simply just one viewpoint of the all. When we come into this form, we become an individual. To borrow a term from Carl Jung, we go through individuation, and we get an individual with a limited perspective. Now, what that means is that you become an individual, and that's who you are, and you realize you're an individual. And who's ever seen a baby figuring out that they're no longer their mother anymore? It's beautiful to watch, and they start to go, "Oh, look, I've got arms and legs, and oh, I'm a thing, you know. Wow, this is I'm a thing, and I'm not that." Carl Jung calls this, individuation, which really is a nice term. But really, we get a limited perspective. And what that means is it's limited. We know I'm this, you're that. This thing I'm playing with is not me. I'm this, that's my mother. I'm this, that's my father. Does this make sense, everyone? We realize that we're an individual. Not a big deal. We all did this. However, when we realize we're an individual, we realize that we have things that we would like, which is good, and then things that we might not like, which is bad. And so we realize that there's things we must do in order to get what we want, and then there's things that can happen we don't get what we want. And so this really creates our view of how the world is. So we orient to the world as being limited. We orient as limited. So we say, I'm this, that's the world. And this is very interesting because we realize, if I do good in school, my dad gives me praise. Or if I look after others, my mother says, well done. But if I hit my brother, then I'm told off. There's things I can do to get more of what I like, and then there's things I can do to get less of what I like. True? This becomes really interesting. We define ourselves based on this rule structure. Our self-conscious identity goes, okay, so this is good and this is bad, and then we make up a rule that says, if I do this, then I get what I want. And so I call that here, we create our life to solve our limitation. Create life to solve limitation. Now, there's actually 6 of these, okay? So I'm up to number 4 there, okay? Now, why this becomes a problem is your identity gets wrapped up in your limitation. So let's give you an example. Let's say that you make up a rule structure that if you be a good girl or a good boy, then your parents give you treats. Or if you're not a good boy or a good girl, you get told off. So you make up the rule, in order to get what I want in life, I must be good. I must do good. That sounds pretty relevant, doesn't it? Sounds good. So you go out in life, and what you do is you just go out there and you be good, and you be nice, and you be polite. You be good, you be nice, you be polite. And then you hit a certain age and you go, I've been good and nice and polite. I followed all the rules, but why have I not got what I want in life? Why has, when I was a kid, if I did that, I got given the sweets or I got given a certificate. Why as an adult, I'm being good, I'm being polite, I'm being nice to people. Why don't I have what I want? Why don't I have the money? Why don't I have it? Can you see that contradiction? It doesn't like our brains go, well, yeah, I should have it then because that's, I was doing the good thing. Well, so shouldn't the world just go, well, here you go, here it is. So we create our life based on this. Who's with me, by the way? Just give me a thumbs up or yes. You're like, well, we do that. What happens is we have 50, 60, 70, 80-year-olds who are still trying to solve the limitation that they believe is true from childhood. And there's 6 of them. We're going to talk about in a second. There's 6 core limited beliefs. Actually, I'll tell you them right now. The first one is we believe we don't belong. But by the way, these are in no order. The first one today is I don't belong. And so this person realized if I do something, I could be neglected, I could be pushed out, I can be left aside from the family. And then if I do certain things, I belong. So they spend their whole life trying to belong. They don't actually go for what they want. They try to belong. That becomes their life. The next one is insignificant. If they do certain things, they're seen and they're significant. And that's what they go for. And they're not actually going for what they want. I had this one person say, Chris, I want to be a best-selling author. I'm like, right. So have you written your book? Oh, I'm going to get a ghostwriter to write my book. I'm like, oh, why? Well, I just really want to be a best-selling author. I'm like, okay, great. Well, you need to write a book. Yeah, well, I'm just going to get this other person to write it and all these things. They didn't actually want to write a book. They just wanted the praise of being a best-selling author, and they kind of just wanted to cheat it somehow. It's like, you only want the praise. You don't actually want to do the thing that gets you there. It was quite something. The next dysfunction is I'm not capable. The I'm not capable person, instead of going for what they want, they just need to become capable. So they decided, I don't have what I need to have what I want. I need to have things. I need more time. I need more money. I need more smarts. And if I could finally have that, I can have what I want. The next person believes they're not worthy. So I'm not worthy to have what I want. So they're trying to be worthy. They're trying to, live the ideal, be perfect, be right, be worthy. And then the last one, I think I've covered them. Oh no, there's two more. The next one is I'm not good enough. This person, this is my core orientation, is that I'm not good enough. So I'm going to do really good work, and the world will judge the work. This is where high achievers, they say, but look at my work. You don't actually know them, you know their work. And so they just keep on trying to make good. Look at my good work, Mom, Dad, look at this. And then the last one is I'm not perfect. And this person is always trying to perfect themselves rather than go for what they want. Anyway, we're going to cover these 6 more. But what I want you to hear at this point is 95% of the world are living to still try to solve their dysfunctional beliefs they have about themselves and how the world is that was created in childhood, created from 0 to 4. They're not actually going for what they want. They're going to solve this. And this is quite a confronting thing to think about. Most people's goals in life are not real goals. They're actually goals to solve this riddle. If I finally had enough money, then I would be worthy. If I finally had the right relationship, if I just had kids that were this, if I just had, then I'll finally solve this pattern that I decided I needed to solve at age 3. Isn't it true? Isn't it true? Look at most people's goals, and it's like, is that really what you want? I have a friend of mine, and he always said it was, that if he had enough money, he doesn't use his money at all. In fact, he's making about, 8 or 9 times more money than he made when I first met him, and he spends none of it. He keeps on. Well, he never uses it. Because it's not actually about the money. It's about that he's going for something to finally be seen as good enough. You see? And so as we move round, then we decide to become a creator. So we create this. We create this life. You've just heard this now. The next thing is to make a decision. Decide to be a creator. And then this is the shift that you'll see on your page. You decide to become a creator. And the creator lives 4 core choices. Okay, so this is the shift. On this side, you're powerless. On this side, you're trying to fix yourself and prove or be worthy or you're living out of an orientation that if you had this other thing, you would finally solve the riddle of life. Now, here's something that's really sad that is just really, really, really sad in our society right now. And I do plan on doing more about this. We do not have an initiation into adulthood that is even close to returning the power back to the adult. In every tradition, when the woman has her first cycle, or when a man turns 15, 16, they go through a process that proves to them that they are not a limited individual and that they are powerful. There's metaphor, myth, and story involved. With women, it involves, being around other women and leaving the girl behind. With men, it's out facing danger, and becoming powerful in your own right. Our society lost this. Our society lost this. Is it true? Instead, we're just kids, bigger kids, kids with adult parts, kids that have got jobs, kids with kids, grandparents with grandparents who are kids with kids. We're still oriented to the childish wounding. Isn't it true? We're still oriented. You still see a 60-year-old man trying to finally be good enough or worthy or this, rather than realizing he's powerful and going for what he wants, still trying to fix themselves. Our ancestors would laugh at us going, I'm not worthy to have what I want, or not believing that they could just go create money, or even giving their power away to money, giving their power away to. So we don't have a moment where we say, right, that's what you thought life was, but you're actually a powerful creator, and here's where to go. So we don't do it. So most of the world lives, it lives here, doesn't it? It lives here at this part where they just oscillate trying to solve this problem. Does that make sense? And this is why we do Magnetic Mind, so it's 12 months with you to help you make this shift. So there's 4 core choices. Let me just bring it out again for you to see it on this. At this shift, you have these four choices, and these 4 choices are a life I love. Actually, can someone type in the 4 core choices? We're covering them more tomorrow. But the 4 core choices are: I'm the predominant creative force in my life. I choose to be in the end result of living my true nature and purpose. I choose to be in the end result of health and vital body and a life I love. Those are the 4. And so we live those choices first, because when you live those choices, you are it. And when you become it, then you're no longer solving a current reality that is worse than a future. To open the wizard's gate and enter the magnetic moment, the now must be better than any future now. You become it now, and it's better than any future now. Many people struggle with this, but Chris, my life will be significantly better with more money. No, it won't. No, it won't. There is nothing better than a moment of human experience. To actually realize you're a creative energy inhabiting a bunch of carbon, hydrogen, and you're experiencing other consciousness in this crazy mystical, magical experience. There's nothing better than to realize that moment. And that's when you understand, when you truly go, oh wow, I get to, wow. You rise above, and when you unlock that, that's when manifestation happens. And that's cool. That when you get to there, you simply don't matter. It simply doesn't matter to you if you make $1 million, 5 million, 10, 20, if you're healthy, not. It doesn't matter. None of it's better than the now. And that's when you unlock it all. And that's what the shift we need to make. So you'll see it says you make the decision. You'll see here on this side it says powerless, self-conscious, victim to circumstance. And then you make this shift to powerful, superconscious creator of your reality. And you do that by using the recode. The recode isn't about fixing. The recode only comes into play when you're in a creative structure. A creative structure is when you're focused on what you're creating and you're recoding or letting go, shedding anything that's not that. Many people struggled for a while to get this concept. But Chris, how is the recode not fixing? Here is my definition of fixing. This is what's wrong with me and I need it gone. Here's my definition of creating. This is what I want and here's what I'm letting go so that I can be that. You see? The recode only comes secondary to structure. Someone comes to me, they say, hey, Chris, can you fix anxiety? I say, no, can't fix anxiety. They say, but I seen your video. Can you fix anxiety? I said, no, I didn't fix anxiety. I created 2 powerful public speakers. I didn't fix nothing. I like that, Carol. You see that? I didn't fix nothing. You know, you said, but you told me there was a guy that was blind can see again. Yeah, I created him running around with his grandkids and doing work on the computer again. And it just happened that he got his sight to do that. You see, that's the key. The key is that you are in creation, and as you're creating, everything else gets let go of so that that can exist in the field. Fixing, the only thing that ends up in the field is the identity that goes, yes, I figured out how to trick myself. I figured out how to close my eyes and hypnotize myself out of my thoughts. And you did, because they're powerful tools. But all that emerges is an identity that goes, well, now I know how to trick myself into thinking a different way. Aha, I'm so smart. It's like you literally split your psyche in two. There's a smart part of you trying to manipulate the other part of you. You see, do you see technical term? Do you see the fuckery in that, in the problem orientation? Do you get it? You see? So what you do is you tune into what you're creating, and as you're creating it, you will notice what's in the way, and tomorrow will show you how to recode and let it go so that you just become it. Very good. So we recode instructions causing the problem. And then once we're living the it now, once we're completely satisfied now, this is when you become a superconductor. Like you're superconductive, like your energy, and you can just flow without any resistance. That's when we tune into your true choices. We're doing that on the last day of this event. From there, we then just follow through, recode anything that's in the way of that being a reality. Let it go so it can be there. And then we become super conscious. Intuition, recode, creation. And this is what came through after I'd done all the work with these amazing masters, and I realized that they were all missing each other's stuff. And once I put it all together and applied it, magic, true magic, true magic. So, number 1, the creative energy. Who's heard of the double slit experiment before? Thomas Young, 1804. What he did is he took a light source, okay, and he fired it at a screen that had 2 slits that he could open and close in it. So he's shooting photons, the smallest unit of light. And then he had a photogenic piece of paper, photogenic board at the back that would record where the light went. Okay, so he's firing light at like a card that has 2 slits in it, and there's something at the back. Now, as you'd expect, when he fired the light at this, it did what a particle does. It either hit the card or went through one of the 2 slits and created 2 lines at the back. Seems pretty obvious, isn't it? Now, and then this is over 200 years ago, hey. Then what happened is he left the experiment and he stopped measuring it and observing it. And the Copenhagen interpretation was born. Hear this very clearly. What happened when he stopped measuring or observing it was that on the photogenic paper at the back, there was no longer just two bands of light. Now, there were two bands of light that were the most colored in, and then it looked like zebra patterns going out from there with different bands of light. So how does that happen? Well, imagine this. Imagine you have a fireman's hose and you have a fence. And if you just fire the hose at the fence and the fence has two slits in it, it's just going to go through the fence and have two bands on the wall behind the fence. Yes? But if you take that hose and you start swinging it like this, then when it goes through the fence, it's going to create all sorts of patterns on the other side as the water collides and goes through at different angles. Does that make sense? Here's what they proved. Human consciousness turned the light particle from a wave to a set point of information, to a particle. Observation and measurement turned it from a wave to a particle. And I want to make sure you get this. Human consciousness changed the way that light works. Now, 100 years later, they did the same experiment with electrons. It is cool, isn't it? They did it with electrons and other units of matter. About 15 years ago in Stanford University, William Tiller took heart math, oh, maybe not 15 years, I think it was 15. William Tiller took heart math meditators. There is a significant difference between meditators who are observing the same experiment and observing it into particles versus non-trained meditators. Here's what we're saying. Consciousness turned something that was completely a cloud, a complete wave of information into a set point of information by observing it. Because in order to observe something, it has to stay still. Consciousness turns light from a wave to a particle. You are that consciousness. Your body is the particle. You are the super consciousness that has observed this into reality. Big deal. What you're made up of first exists as a probability cloud of information, or a wave, if you like, that gets collapsed into one point of information. And we've known this for over 200 years. They know that each experiment is 100% changed by who's observing it, how they're observing it, and their expectations and beliefs. And they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with it because it sits outside of the Newtonian model of physics, which is a really good model for the big stuff, but Newtonian model of physics does not work for the small stuff. And what I mean by that is the small stuff makes up the big stuff. So light and electrons and these sort of things make up as the building blocks of all matter. What happens with the building blocks is different to how we observe the big things. And so quantum physics was born, and it's an absolutely amazing form of science. And Einstein was quoted as saying the field is the only thing. Nikola Tesla, if you want to understand the universe, think in vibration, frequency. And so what we know about how change happens is that observation and consciousness plays a huge role in it. So fast forward to about 5 years ago, and Joe Dispenza, by the way, love Joe. Joe Dispenza releases a book called Power of the Placebo. Who's read it? Great book. He documents and talks about how powerful placebo is. Now, placebo is basically a term that has been coined to describe when the change happens that has nothing to do with the physical matter of whatever is given. So, for example, the matter is inert and the results still happen. So if you give them a sugar pill and you don't tell them it's a sugar pill, there's a certain percentage, it's around about 30% of people, just on belief alone, will make the shift. And so I actually think the placebo takes the power away from us. Is it true? If 30% of the time the change that some drug is making it can be put down to the placebo, why don't we stop calling it the placebo and start calling it ourselves? Because it's not the placebo effect, is it? It kind of takes the power away. 30% of the time, the person just decides to change, has a sugar pill, has whatever, has a saline injection, and makes the change on belief alone. You see? That's why You Are the Placebo, the name of his book, so brilliant. But the name takes it away from us. It's like it's a placebo effect. No, it's not. It's the person believing in it. A third of the time, it's just massive, hey? It's just massive. So what happens then? What happens when a person completely shifts? Well, they've gone and they've made a full superconscious, unconscious, self-conscious. That's the way it is, and their whole body has aligned to it. I promise you, they are not focused on the problem. They're focused on how the solution is and how they're going to be. It is a big, big, big deal. A big deal. And when you start to investigate some of these breakthroughs and these sciences, you will be amazed. You will be amazed. And it's so interesting how quickly we all want to put our power in a new pill or a new person or a new this or a new that, instead of realizing the power's here. There's another part of Dispenza's book that talks about the nocebo, which is when someone truly believes it won't work. And you give them something that's known to work. But because they believe it won't work, guess what happens? It doesn't work. So what if it's more about you knowing and believing and being in the end result than it is about something outside of you? What if it's you that you've been looking for? What if? So there's 3 different levels of consciousness, okay? And I'm on page 12. So we talked about these 3, and I drew the picture out, but just so that you've got the information, okay, is that there's 3 classifications that we're going to use. Now, the Inuits in North America and Canada, they can have, I believe Dermot told me this yesterday, 17 different classifications of snow, you know? Now, there is many ways you can classify consciousness. Does that make sense? There's so many ways. And you can slice it into, as many different things. I just call it like snow, it's wet snow, and it's that. They have 17 different ways to talk about snow. That's pretty cool. Okay. Sarah says 52 words. Really, really interesting. 52 words for snow. Whatever. It's way more than me. So you might have many different ways to explain the same thing. Just to make sure we're on the same page, though, when I say self-conscious, you might say ego. So just that's what I'm going to say, self-conscious. It defines itself through thought, an identity, a body, a name, has a lifetime. Its goal is to live the best life possible. You might hear me, use the word identity where you see self-conscious. Okay, so you might want to write on your notes identity there. Okay, but we know what it is, and then you can use whatever word you want. The unconscious or subconscious defines itself through feelings, creates programs, and runs the body through automation. Its goal is to keep the system going and desires to continue what has been working. So whatever's kept you alive, the unconscious just wants to keep doing that. Even if your self-conscious goes, why do we keep getting in a relationship with someone who abuses us? The unconscious goes, because that's what dad was like, so that's safe. The unconscious just keeps doing the same thing because you're alive. Okay? Why do I keep on having breakups? Why do I keep having a business that keeps on failing? The unconscious says, well, that's what childhood was like, and we're still alive, so let's just keep replaying childhood. The next level is the superconscious. Defines itself as a code of information, has unlimited knowledge, and cannot think or feel. Its goal is to be involved in the creation process. A few people clarifying me here. There are 52 Inuit words for classifying snow. And it's a great metaphor because many of you say, but Chris, I've had another teacher give me 9 levels of consciousness and this and this and all these other things. Great. We're all describing the same thing the best we can. Does that make sense? I'm on page 12. Okay. So let's talk about the superconscious. Is that good? And so you can, you can call it whatever you want. In fact, if you want to call the superconscious your higher self, divine, collective unconscious, Bob, Sue, Jane, James, SC, super me, whatever you want to call it, it really doesn't mind. Kevin, I think Kevin's a good name. Bob, someone likes Bob. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it superconscious. But we all know what it is, and we've all been there before. It's a part of you that is, it's a part of your consciousness. It's a memory structure that's just bigger than your limited perspective. Okay, so the 2 roles of your superconscious. 1, to give your unconscious instructions, okay? So from your family field, from the way it is, your superconscious intelligence is connected through your family, and it's giving your unconscious instructions on what to create, okay? So, I have some amazing bright orange here, and so did my father. That instruction is sitting there. It's in the DNA code, right? And so, so I'm blessed with this amazing, beautiful, good looks. And that's because of the instructions that were given down into the unconscious. Does that make sense? That's there. But also what came is any of the emotions or the fears or the worries or other coding too. Okay? And it has to. Now I'm living in a field structure of information, mother, father, down through me, but through all of this. And this field of information, it's really a field. But when I say field and I'm out like this, it doesn't really talk about it. If you go inside the DNA and you look at it and you go inside it and you go inside it, you just find more nothingness. It's a field of all possibilities. Our DNA is not that much different to, a worm or a banana or a fruit fly. There's not that much different. The difference is in what information it's coding up to create us and who we are, and that field is unlimited. When you learn how to get out of your limitation and back into that superconscious, you can shift and change and come back down. You are allowed, and here's why. It is you. It is you. It's not that we're going to go be something else. You're not broken. You're just learning how to use an aspect of you that's been lying dormant that you thought was unchangeable. It's the aspect that everyone uses when they have a placebo effect healing. The field of possibilities is you. You are the source code. Now, you're not going to live there, but you can go there and change the instructions. The second thing that the superconscious can do is it can give you insight and intuition. The superconscious is always giving you intuition. Those brilliant ideas are coming from a place outside of you. You know, your memories live in your superconscious field. And when you learn to tap into your true genius and your superconscious self, it's amazing. The people that are in my by the way, who's here is in my certification? Let me know if you're in the cert. People that are in my certification, after a while, we don't need to do recode. We go, what's the problem? They say this, and I'm like, right, go to your superconscious. What does your superconscious think about this? And they go, oh, no, it's not a problem anymore. Right? You know, those who've been in the certification or who are certified, who's noticed that now? It's like, right, so let's go. And, you know, we just did the superconscious intuition course, which is part of our mastery 12-month program. And, you know, we just go there now and we just say, hey, you know, superconscious, what's with this? Let's shift this now. When you learn to have that working relationship with it, it's, yeah, it's a really, really, really big deal. Okay, so pages 14 through to, where does it go to? Pages 14 through 21 to 26. Pages 14 to 26. I've actually explained it already. And so this is the actual detailed version of explaining that whole superconscious journey. Does that make sense? So please make sure you've got it. It's also explained in even more detail in the book. We go into each chapter, talks about a different aspect of this journey. Okay, so I've already talked about that. You'll see here the first one says creative energy, individuation. Talks more about individuation. Talk about the unwanted beliefs, the problem or powerless orientation, then shifting into the creative orientation, then the journey, and then the magnetic moment, creating your end results, and then living it, So I'm gonna leave that there because I feel as though we really did cover it enough. Do you guys all agree? And there's more here. Is there anyone that goes, well, I don't know if you really covered that journey enough? I feel like you guys really, really do get it. I feel into the field here. Everyone's like, yep, I understand. I understand the journey. And so, you know, the basis of it is that we are creative energy. We come into a limited perspective. As we get into a limited perspective, we make our world up about solving that limitation. And then we make all these goals and these desires and all these things. And it simply just works against us until we decide to let it go and have it all now. As soon as we have it all now, that unlocks the wizard's gate, which means we can then create what we love without it being any better than what we already have. And that's the magic. So anyway, so those notes are just going over what I've already taught you, which is good. Now, just on that, if you're in masterclass or above, so if you're in the certification or superconscious mastery, you'll have this whole event in your university. Okay, so this is all there as well, you know, the workbook and everything else. Okay, so just know that's there. So I'm going to jump into page 27 and what is structure. So this is all being recorded. Rochelle's over there making sure we have all the recordings and answering everything, which is pretty good. What would I do without you guys? Actually, let's take a moment. Where is the CEC team? You guys are all on here. Make yourself known, CEC team. CEC stands for Conscious Education Company, and we have such an amazing group of individuals, and they love this work. They love you. They love what we're up to, and we've got a goal to impact 50 million people. And this morning, we got on a call. It was 6 a.m. for myself and Rochelle, and it was 4 a.m. for some of the team. And, you know, they were on. And the funny thing, they said, yeah, cool, we're going to be on the emails. We're going to be on this. It's going to be amazing. We're going to change lives. And then they said, hey, but if there's not that many emails, would it be all right if we just get to listen to Chris and go through the work ourselves? And you know, of course they can. And that's how much they love it. You know, they love it. We have so much fun every single week celebrating all of your guys' victories. So do keep sending them in. It really, there's, I think we've got about 30 odd staff in the team, and it's brilliant and expanding. And so I just want to take a moment. I know you guys are all out there listening, and Rochelle's there, and Hannah's out there. You know, everyone. So I won't try to name everyone. It's too difficult. But but I love you all, and it is. I'm very blessed to look this good on the front, you know, of this amazing movement, because I can't do it without all of you guys. And so I know it's a hard job to make me look good, and I've got lots of crazy ideas, and it's just brilliant. So thank you. Really. It's so fun to cast this vision and then find a bunch of people that go, yeah, you know what? That's my vision now too. Remember, actually, Rochelle kicked my butt a while ago. So I was like, oh, it's so great to have you guys part of my vision. She's like, whatever. It's our vision too now. And I was like, all right, you're right. It's weird that you're sitting in there typing.
I'm here.
I know. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about structure. Structure. Now, all you Americans can laugh. I'm actually saying structure, but my accent, you know, it's structure. Many people go, oh, I read your book and you've been talking about structure. I was wondering what a structure was for so long. I had no idea what it was. I'm so glad it's written for me. So anyway, sorry for my silly accent. I don't really know what it is anymore anyway. But I like structure, so we might just change it all to it's about structure. Anyway, so structure. So hey, structure is a term that refers to a single thing with parts. A single thing with parts. And these parts have an impact upon each other. A structure can look like a body, a chair, a song, a building, anything with individual parts working together. The Australians go, I knew exactly what you've been saying, mate. What structure? Okay, it's it's something that has individual parts working together. So right now, I am not in a structure with that cup. Now, I'm working together with this glass or cup or whatever you want to call it. Now, we're in a structure together. Does that make sense? Cool. Now I'm not. So it's working together. Well, if it's in my awareness and it's in there, I might be in a structure with it. Now, a structure is held together by tension. This would not be a good demonstration if I reduce the tension in my arm. We all know what would happen. The glass would fall, because there's another thing that I'm in tension with, which is something that we've decided to call gravity. We'll just use that as our metaphor. So there's something acting on it. Okay, so it wouldn't work. Does that make sense? So structure is when things are working together, okay, and it's held together with tension, okay? It's held together. Now, I'm in a structure with you. We're actually in a structure. And the tension is I have information that I want you to learn. And so I want to give you that. You want to get it. We're in a structure together. Okay, we're working together. We're two parts, and we'd call that magnetic mind 3-day. Does that make sense? Now, different structures have different movement. Write this down. The structure determines the movement. A structure has integrity, and it determines movement. A skyscraper, no matter how much force I put on it, it will not move. The only way to move all the parts that make up that skyscraper is to break the structure apart. In the structure of the skyscraper, it does not move. Now, the structure of a door, or the structure of a pendulum or a swing, that structure will move one way only to move back. Does that make sense? It will only move one way to move back. And then the last structure is like a skateboard or a ball or a car. Those will move in whichever way you move them. Structure determines the movement. When you put energy to a structure, the structure has integrity and will move in a predictable way. Does this make sense, everyone? The structure has integrity, so when you put energy into a structure, it will move in a predictable way. You put energy into a beach ball, it will move in a predictable way. You put energy into a bowling ball, it will move. You put energy into a fence post, unless you break the structure controls the movement. And I want you to think about like a river with river banks. The structure is the banks of the river. The river's going to flow wherever you put those river banks. Until the structure is broken, that's where the flow will go. And it will flow downstream, which is wherever the gradient is. Won't flow uphill. So your life building process is also a structure. The structure in a life building process has 4 parts: current reality, desired reality, an identity, and an action to take. The life building process has 4 parts. This is the beautiful present moment I'm in now. This is what I'm creating. This is my identity. And this is the things that I will be doing as time moves from this point to this point. Okay? These are the parts, no matter how you structure your life. However, there are 3 different ways your life could be structured. Your life could be structured in an oscillating structure. We could play a drinking game right now, Roche, and it could be every time I say structure, have a shot. And then no one would be in a good learning structure. But I just feel like I've said structure so many times. I should change that. It's funny.
I'll have a go. Okay.
We'd be doomed if that was the game we're playing. An oscillating structure is like a rocking chair. So your life might be set up. We'll do wheatgrass shots, and we'll all just, be running to the bathroom after about 20 minutes of this many times I said the word. So an oscillating structure is when it's like a swing. So your life might be set up oscillating. Every time you put energy into your goal, okay, every time you put energy into your goal, it moves for a bit and then it moves back. You might have goals like that. A lot of people have that in weight loss. A lot of people have that in business. It just moves and moves back. You might have in some areas in your life a completely stuck structure. You put energy into it, no, it doesn't go anywhere, and you give up. It doesn't move at all. Or in some parts of your life, you might just have what's called a flowing structure, which is you put energy into it and it flows. Okay. Now you'll know, the way that we know is that time doesn't get stopped. So if you've got a choice, if you're moving towards it, then it's flowing. If you feel like you move towards it and then you go back, it's oscillating. If you haven't got any progress towards it, it's stuck. You know, it's not a hard thing to determine where you're at with it. We would like all your choices to be flowing. Okay. We'd like them all to be flowing. Okay. Now the key is that you can change the structure, and that's a really important thing. Okay. For example, you can rearrange the ingredients from one structure to another. Okay. And if you do, you'll have different movement. So let's say you have a wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow is made of wood, let's say. Let's say if you pick it up and you put energy into it, it moves. Seems right, doesn't it? Doesn't seem like a problem. So what if you took that exact same, wood and a, piece of it, metal and screws or whatever, and you made it into a fence. And then you put the same energy into it, and it doesn't move. It's the same material, you restructured it. Make sense? Cool. So it's something that's going to that won't move versus what it was. So you take the same things, you can rearrange them, and if you rearrange them, you're going to see a different result in your life. That's all we must do. Before we do recode or anything else, we must rearrange so that you're in flowing structures, not in structures that are stuck or oscillating. It's the same thing in a different way, and then it will move. How you guys going with this? Is it good? Now, someone typed in, the fence has no wheel. So make the fence and then screw the wheel onto the fence. So it's a fence with two bloody wheels screwed on it. Okay? Now it's a fence with a bloody wheel on it, okay? Don't ruin my metaphor. Rochelle's losing it over here. Well, it's true, isn't it? Isn't it true? Someone's like, I got you, Chris. The fence in my mind, there was no wheel. Okay. Okay, so what is tension? What is tension? Now, tension is the mystical force that holds things together in this universe. Okay? Think about this with your body. Okay? What is holding your body together? All right? It's that it's structured in a way that there's tendons and muscles holding it all in certain tension structures. What holds society together? There's tension between what needs to be done, how an individual must be. There's structures in place so that it all can work. Okay? We're his skin suit, yeah. Okay, so what is tension? I've still got a fence with all these wheels put on it in my mind. Yeah, someone's going to, by the way, one-on-one coaching session up for grabs with me for the first person walking along that gets their phone and they see a fence with a wheel on it and they take a picture and tag me on Instagram. Remember I said that.
Oh, no.
First person. That'd be funny. But it has to be, you're not allowed to go to Google Images. Oh, they're going to go, you're not allowed to go to Google. You must be in the photo. You must be in the photo, okay? You've got to be in it. And I'll know if you photoshopped it, okay? So no bloody cheating. Anyway, what is tension? Okay, all structures are held together by tension. Now, when I say tension, you might not like that word, okay? You might like disequilibrium, okay? You might like it that it's a disequilibrium. Here's what I want you to know, is that the tension of the way things are put together holds things in place, okay? So the screws that are with the wheel, they're in tension with each other. I'm in a tension structure with this. I've had to put tension here and here, and I'm squeezing this to be in a structure. Does that make sense? I'm literally in a tension. There's pressure being placed on this so that it works together, okay? If there's no tension, then there's no structure. If there's no tension, there's no structure. Think about it. The skyscraper, everything involved in the skyscraper has to have pressure and tension on it to have it hold together. Give me yeses or hands up if you get it. There's a structure, there's a tension, there's a pressure, there's a connection. Think of tension like the force when you stretch a rubber band. The tension creates the movement. The tension holds it together. Now, if you have two things with equal tension, if I have my magic pen and I go like this and I have two different tensions on it, if I pull one that way and if I could pull the other one that way, whichever has the most tension will cause the movement until the tension's back to equilibrium. Does that make sense? So there's a tension. The tension desires equilibrium. The tension desires equilibrium. The structure will keep moving until the tension is equal. True? It will keep moving until it's equal tension. Now, if it's not, movement will occur until it comes to equilibrium, and that movement will be along the path of least resistance. So if you have water at the top of a hill and there's a tension placed on it from gravity, it will flow down the hill until it comes to rest, and it will keep going downhill. But if you change the structure and put a dam in the way, well, then the water keeps on building up until you release the structure and it flows again. Many people's lives, they've got dams in the way of what they want. Damn it. They've got dams in the way. They have. It was flowing. It was all good. And then there's, what's this? So when it moves, it's going to move along the path of least resistance. So when I say you must structure your life in the right way, you must structure it so your current reality flows to your desired reality. And if you structure your life in the right way, it shall. What happens is, as we're flowing to our desired reality, let's call it the river of desire. As we're flowing, our superconscious and unconscious has put resistance or dams or blocks in the way to keep us in our safe little bubble and not to go down into new territory. So we created it all. And it's very smart because we know that we take the path of least resistance, and then we know that the path of least resistance is very easy to manipulate because you just put resistance in the way. If you're a smart superconscious and unconscious and you don't want a human being to go that way, you just put resistance in the way and it can't flow there, you see? And there's can't do it, doesn't work. And that's why it stops. It's kind of like, you have a dog with a leash, right? And so it's like, well, you can't go there because there's a resistance. I'm in a tension structure with you. Oh, I want to go play. Can't. Oh, true. So it's very, very, very important. So let's draw this out, okay? Let's draw these structures out. Okay, so you have a current reality, a desired reality, an identity, and an action. Okay, these are all your elements. Okay, these are all your elements. Now, if you want to create an oscillating structure, the way to do it, so you want to create oscillating structure, the way to create something that oscillates is to have your identity and your current reality not equal the identity in this reality, okay? And your current reality to not equal your desired reality. That's how to do it. So you'll say, current reality doesn't equal that. I need to move towards it. But as soon as I get close to it, my identity freaks out and goes, oh, but I'm going to be completely different. Ah, that's not what I want. And your identity will pull you back. So if you want oscillation, that's how to do it. If you want to be stuck, this is how to do it. If you want to be stuck, you have a current reality and an identity, okay? And you can have no clear desired reality, which then leads to no clear action. True? You'll be stuck. You'll just not know what to do, and you'll just stay there. That's how to stay stuck. Who's done either of those two, by the way? So here's how to flow. You take your identity, and your identity comes out, and it is equal to either of those. It's equal. Your identity doesn't change. It doesn't change. It's just happy. In fact, your identity doesn't care. It's the same in the current reality, desired reality, and any other random reality that you might want to experience. You become it. The identity doesn't care. And so since your identity is just as good in any place it wants to be, well, then you just take the action that moves from there to there. But your identity is absolutely no conflict. You want to know what page we're on? Not really on a page right now. I'm just drawing. But we were just on page 28. We're not really on a page right now. The notes section. So do you see the differences? The first one, it's all about the identity conflict, the shift between oscillating and so the shift between oscillating and flowing is all about identity, and the shift from stuck to flowing is all about defining the desired reality that you want. Okay? Happy with that, everyone? Same stuff, different change. Now, just so you know, we've got another break coming up in about 11 minutes. So stick with me. If you starting to cross your legs or you got some things you might need to do, 11 minutes, we've got a break coming up. We've just got to cover a few more things to get us set up, because then we're going into some exercises, which I think you will all love. So we're doing really well. Okay? Awesome. So here's an example of an oscillating structure. Okay? And this is on page 30. I put RR down for random reality, meaning the identity doesn't mind where you go. It feels the same in your current reality, the desired reality, or any other random reality. Make sense? Yeah, beautiful. Great. Thank you. Thanks for asking. Okay. So I'm on page 30. Here's an oscillating structure. Okay. So you have no money. And so then you want to have money. So, in order to go from no money to have money, The obvious action is to earn. True? I mean, that's what you should do. No money, want to have money, earn money. Right, that's pretty obvious. Problem is if you have an identity that says money is bad, what will happen is then, since money is bad, there is a tension structure pulling you back here. And if money is bad and you have money, well, what you should do is give it away. Which then leads to no money. You see that? So I have no money, so I should earn. And if I do that, it leads to having money. If I have money and I have a competing belief that money is bad, well, then I must give it away or lose it. So then I have no money, which leads me back to here. So what happens is, as you'll see in the diagram, we never get to these parts. We never get here. Because as soon as we start earning, it wants to take it away. You see that? Do you see the diagram on page 30? You see that? And so the problem is that there's a competition here. So it never gets to that next bit, right? Because it just goes, oh, now I'm earning it. Oh, this is so scary, it's so different. And where does it come from? I'll be different if I have money. Yeah. Beliefs make up identity, but it's not everything. Yeah. Thanks for the question. Beliefs, feelings, emotions, memories, events. Yeah. Identity, self-conscious. Yeah. You see? So that's the oscillating structure. And you'll see there on the picture, it's on page 30, it's and I'll go back to our thing. By the way, how cool is this board? So you'll see down here, desired reality. You could change it to current reality. ID does not equal ID. That's what's happened here. Okay. The reason why I've written desired reality twice, because the give it away desires no money, right? So they're two desired realities. So give it away desires to be there. That desires to be there. That has a compensating strategy. And that's how it works. Very cool. Isn't it cool? So that is cool to see. Isn't it cool to see? Because then you got a reason. Like you don't need to fix any of these beliefs. You just need to be it now. There's no way to fix it. And so here's it. And I know we've been talking about structure for basically the whole morning, but it's the most important thing. Well, whatever, afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you. Here's the structure. It all, right back to what I started with, is if your current reality is made out to be worse than your desired reality, your identity will reject the future, because to have it will mean death of the way it has always been. Alex asked me to repeat it. It's literally on the page. I literally just read it right off the page, mate. I'm not giving away the board. Now, it can be scary to acknowledge the truth. And at least you're there, though. The truth is, You get to have it all now. And it's actually the only way. And this is why when I make the big bold claim that the personal development world is broken and doesn't help people, I'm not just saying that. And this is also why in my videos I say, don't do this. I'm just telling the truth. If you put recode in a structure that says I must fix themselves, you will just become a I must fix myself to be a successful person. That is not what you want. That is not what you want. All right, so we're reaching the halfway point of day one. I hope you're having a great day. We're going to be jumping into exercises when we come back from a short break right now. So we're going to do a couple big exercises. Now, for the exercise, I am going to be bringing someone out to do a demonstration in front of the group first. Now, if you're on YouTube, you're not going to be able to see me screen share the person, okay? You're going to be able to maybe hear them, but I would highly recommend for the next session that you join us over on Facebook. Because on Facebook, you're going to be able to see the other person and go through the demonstration, okay? If you're on Zoom, you're going to be able to see it. And so I hope that in the next 15 minutes, you decide to do that. Otherwise, you won't be able to see them just the way that our technology is set up. But that's okay, because then we'll still do the exercise with you right after that. Okay, so YouTube people, we're putting the link in for you. Love to see you over there. And that sounds really good. It is 2 minutes to the hour for me. So we're going to have a 12-minute break. Okay. I'll see you back at 10 minutes past the hour. Please write down and solidify your top 3 or 4 takeaways from that session. I will be asking, and you will have benefit of having them later. Zoom's fine. I'm only talking to the YouTube people there. Does that sound good? See you in exactly 12 minutes. If you hear me talking again, it means we've started. I'm having a great day. I'll see you at 10 past the hour or in 12 minutes from now. All right. Hey, YouTube people, can you guys still hear me? Yeah or nah? We're going to just drop in a couple links, either to Facebook or Zoom. And if you'd like to click on those for the next session, that would be great, because that's where you're going to be able to experience and see the work better. If you're just happy just chilling there here on YouTube, love you just the same. Does that sound good? You're on the YouTube link right now, Albert. So we're gonna put the link in just a second, and you guys can come join. So come do that. We can't share screen here on YouTube. Does that sound good? Cool. Anyway, it's going to be there. Make up your own mind. Love you. Thanks for being there. Zoom link is there. Can you guys see it? My YouTube friends. Hope so. And the Facebook link is there as well. Cool. Has it worked for you guys? Let me try again. The replays will be available to the general public for the next until the event ends on my Sunday, which will be Saturday in the US. And the replay is available for those who are in the masterclass. That should work if you click that link. Does that Zoom link work? Should be able to click that and it should just join. I did just put it in. And let me grab the Facebook group for you as well, for those who want to. Let me grab the Facebook link for you guys if you want to join Facebook too. Facebook's where all the real action is happening. Oh, that's so cool. Cool. Oops. There you go. And there's the Facebook. Cool. I hope that's enough to see you over there. Cool. Thanks for being a part of the energy, hey? Super great. And so I'll get over there and start chatting to everyone again, hey? Love you guys. Thanks for being part of my YouTube channel. I'd love you to give me some thumbs up or subscribe to the channel and those sort of things. It'd be just great. It'd be just great. I have shared the Zoom link, I think, a number of times. If it's weird while I'm doing the session, you might just need to. Why does my Zoom link keep getting deleted? I've put it there like 3 times. Cool, there it is there. There's the Zoom link. Come join us. Yeah, cool. All right, I'm going to go start up on the Zoom now, so I hope to see some of you over there. Some of all of y'all. Let's do it. Roche, can you just make sure that the Zoom link is staying there for the YouTube people? Okay, let's go. All right, for all of the great energy you've been typing in. It is just so good. So good. And I'm having an absolute ball teaching this to you. And I hope that it's all just coming across as I intend, which is just me humbly sharing some things that I have found to be absolutely mind-altering and significant in my creation journey. And I hope that you just take what you love and leave the rest, hey? No ego here. You don't have to love it all. I'm just sharing what I think is great, and I really think it's great. And also, it is just the scratch on the scratch of the surface. It really is. Many of you in the break messaged me and asked about what else you can do, or what you can do with magnetic mind, or conscious education. So real quickly, we have a 12-month masterclass, which every single group must be involved in. This has about 2,500 people in it. And we do this event 3 or 4 times a year. We have 6 sessions a week doing recode and coaching. We have a full online university and meditations and everything. And it is our foundational program. Okay. There's payment plans and finance and everything available. Yeah. Above that, we have 2 separate programs. One is called Superconscious Mastery. And it is a 3-part year-long program. It's one part's called Superconscious Transformation, which is where you learn how to perform the recode. The other part is called Superconscious Intuition. And how many of you just finished or about to finish Superconscious Intuition in the next couple of weeks? That's been absolutely amazing. And the third part of Mastery is Superconscious Creator. And so that's a year-long course with 3 programs in it, and each program is 90 days long. And it's not necessary. Everything that you need is inside of Magnetic Mind Masterclass. However, many of us are curious to learn more and do more. So it's a brilliant program, but it's not necessary. Magnetic Mind is necessary for every single human being who wants to learn how to become a superconscious creator and master their reality. It's necessary. Everything after that is completely up to a person's choice what they would like to do. The level above that is called Magnetic Mind Certification. And Magnetic Mind Certification is for those who want to become a professional in delivering the Magnetic Mind Masterclass. It also includes the Superconscious Transformation, which is 1/3 of mastery, and a full business in a box. And that's it. That's everything we have. That's everything we have. Now, can I ask, are there people who are not in certification here, people who are not in the certification here, who would love to learn how to do the recode? Because I've got a big surprise for you. This weekend, I'm going to be giving away 3 fully sponsored tickets to Superconscious Transformation worth $8,000 each. We're going to give away three of them completely sponsored. Now, if you're in the certification, you already got given transformation anyway. So unless you're entering on behalf of someone else, there's no point to enter. So we're going to be giving those away. We'll talk about how to enter tomorrow. And anyway, I just thought I'd take a moment to just share that while we had a couple moments together. So there's a lot available, and masterclass is where everyone needs to be. Most of you here are in masterclass. That's where everyone needs to be. And above that, it's things that people want. I got a saying, masterclass is the last course you ever need to buy. And the reason is because it teaches you everything to become a superconscious creator of your reality. And then everything after that is just for what people would desire to do more of. Sound good? Cool. All right, that's out the way. Good chats. I will give you all a chance to enter and win that tomorrow, which is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And let's just stay super focused on going through this amazing work. Okay, very cool. All right, so I'm on page 32. And I'm sitting down for a bit, but that's the page. Sitting down. Okay. So on page 32, you can see it says problem solving versus creating. Okay. The difference between problem solving and creating is huge. It's the difference between a lifetime of struggle and self-sabotage or a lifetime of joyful creating. Explaining the difference is easy. Application is the difficult part. Structure is created by where, thanks, Sarah. Sarah says, but I'm a standing up guy. Insert clients will get the joke. Structure is created where you put your original intention. Structure is created by where you put your original intention. If you put your focus on what you desire to create first, then take action towards it, you are in the creative orientated structure. If, on the other hand, you sit around thinking what is wrong or broken with your reality and deciding you must solve that, then your first intention is to solve a problem and not create. And that is the problem with the problem structure. Which is funny to say. But that is the difference. What's on page 32? And I'm aware I look like Milhouse, who just took his glasses off. I'm aware of that, for those of you who know The Simpsons. The results are very different. in by focusing on creating, you allow a flow or a pull. I don't need to repeat, Kat. I'm reading it straight off the page. By focusing on creating, you allow a flow or a pull towards what is wanting to be created. By focusing on problem solving, you oscillate and never get anywhere. You can see the problem orientation everywhere in our society. From the war on drugs to wars to fighting cancer, everything is focused on the problem. And right now, our last year of existence has been a war on this pandemic. Never did any of the powers decide to create healthy humans, did they? Instead, we just went to fight for it. We're so focused on when we have when we have electricity, when we have a car, when we have an iPhone, when we have faster computer, when we have this, that will solve how we feel. The human species has been addicted to seeing what's not right and solving it, especially our society. Sorry, I'm going to put that a different way. Our society of the last, 400, 500 years has been, this isn't right, we're going to do that. So it's everywhere. It is not your fault. That's how you've orientated your life. Does that make sense? And by the way, this is straight from the workbook, which is straight out of the book. It's in the book. We didn't go and create healthy humans, did we? Not one country said, right, human bodies are pretty great at handling things. So yes, we're going to do all the other things, but also, guys, everyone's going to get a vitamin IV drip. We're going to make sure every human in our society is completely got the best immune system. By the way, did anyone's countries do that? That's what I did as a person. I said, all right, there's something out there. I'm going to make sure I'm ready to go. I'm going to create a healthy body. Isn't it true? So we're not in creation, are we? Well, there's a problem. Well, now we need to solve it. And so you can see it everywhere. When you're in a problem solving, you're taking action to have something go away, the problem. Now, this isn't the same as an engineer trying to build a machine and then realizing that they need to change a few things. Does that make sense? That's not it. They might say, I'm problem solving, but they're actually in creation. True? They're actually because they're creating the machine or they're creating a system. They're actually creating something and then tweaking it as they go along. They might sound like problems, but it's not. It's not. That's creating. In fact, when I wrote this book, sent it to the editor. The editor came back with 8,000 edits that they needed me to fix. 8,000. It's only a 52,000 word book. I thought, man, I'm broken. When you are creating, you are taking action to have something come into being. When you are creating, you're taking action to have something to come into being. By observing the problem, you bring that into reality by the point of observation. Remember our quantum experiment. You bring the problem into being. The problem-focused structure is inescapable. It is inescapable. It is totally inescapable. You will never solve the problem as the solution only exists in polarity to the problem. So let's do an exercise. Everyone type in something that you would like to avoid experiencing, something you do not want to experience. Be specific. Be specific. What is something you don't want to experience? Be specific. The more specific, the better. Like, I don't want to experience X. Okay? Good. 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 Thanks for typing in. Okay. Okay. Right. Good. I forgot how many of you there are on here. Oh, it's so cool, by the way, to be igniting, 500 flames. I do feel like this course is like I got my fire burning and learning to create, and all I'm doing is lighting the next piece of kindling to light the next fire, or the next candle. And it's brilliant to see over 1,000 of you on this. I hope that you go out there and shine bright, light the next fire. Say, okay, so back to the exercise. So what I would like you to do is close your eyes and follow this. It is not a transformational process. It is a very simple process. So please close your eyes. Please close your eyes. That's it. Please close your eyes. So many of you are brilliant at having eyes closed and typing in. Don't know how you do that. So close your eyes. Close your eyes. It'll be very short exercise. What I'd like you to do with your eyes closed, I want you to imagine that thing that you just said you wanted to resist. Just imagine it. And as you imagine it, in your intention, I want you to actively avoid it coming true. So intend to resist it and avoid it coming true. I don't want that to come true. And just notice how it feels. Close your eyes and actively avoid it coming true. I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to happen. And just do that for a second. Don't want it to happen. And now, notice what you do. What do you do? So I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to do this. So just notice that. I don't want it to happen, so this is how I'm going to act. This is how I'm going to be. Just experience, I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to do this. As you do that, let me ask you, did the thing you're avoiding go away? Or has it got bigger? Open your eyes, let me know. Did it go away? Did it get bigger? It's there, isn't it? How did it feel, by the way, as you're actively avoiding it? All right, good. Got bigger for most of us. Okay. So thank you for typing in. Now the second part of the exercise. It's going to take some of you to put on your full superconscious pants, your trousers that are your adult trousers, and we're going to do a little big exercise now. Okay, close your eyes. Close your eyes. This time, with your eyes closed, what I would like you to do is, that's it, with your eyes closed, everyone with your eyes closed. And I want you to accept the possibility of that reality. Accept the possibility of that reality. Accept the possibility. And as soon as you accept the possibility of that reality, I'd like you to accept any and every other possible reality as being possible. Spend a minute accepting all possible realities as possible, including the one that you would prefer not to happen. Accept them all. Accept them all as possible. You can do it. Accept them all as possible. And now as you accept them all as possible, imagine yourself rising above them all, like in a hot air balloon, or just a balloon. Imagine yourself just rising above them all safely, easily. Look down at them all. Some are good, some are bad, some are terrible, some are amazing, whatever. Just rise up. And now, from this perspective, pick the one that you want to experience. Pick the one you want to taste. And float down and live that. When you're ready, come back. Let me know. What happened when you actively accepted its possibility rather than trying to reject it? Did rejecting it do anything to it, or did you actually keep it alive? By giving it its attention and saying, I don't want that to happen, you kept it alive, didn't you? But as soon as you said, oh, that's possible, that is a possible thing that can happen, and then you accepted all the other possibilities as well, what happened? I'd like you to type in or write down in your notebook, what happened when you just accept that it's possible and that you're bigger than it? See, in the first instance, you're giving it the power. If that thing happens, then I can't be happy. It has the power. But once you accept it as possible, you rose above it. You took the power back because you're more powerful than any moment. You're more powerful than any circumstance. You're super conscious. You're not broken. You're super conscious. Promise you, in this human journey, there's going to be all sorts of things that your self-conscious prefers not to experience. But we make it so much worse by thinking it has the power over us. You need to be the exact same on the best days and the worst days. When you win the championship, when you lose it in a heartbreaking final match. Accept them all and choose the one you're going to prefer. And no, your editor might tell you there's 8,000 edits. That's thought-provoking, really, isn't it? Is that our idea of resisting something keeps it alive. And the reason why it keeps it alive is because you are the creative energy. So as soon as you focus on it, you're the one giving it breath. You're the one giving it energy. And it's stealing from you instead of accepting that can happen. And you're bigger than it. Make it happen. And as soon as you're not worried about it, it doesn't steal energy from you so you can focus on living your life. One of the first things I do when someone comes to me with a health crisis is I work on them accepting the possibility that health crisis won't do anything. They won't be able to change it, and they accept that possibility. And then we get into a creative structure of what they really do want to live, what they really do love. And we start living that, regardless of what's happening with their health. And magic happens. Magic happens. They're too busy living their life to be worried about. See, people who are healthy are too busy living their life to be worried about the things going wrong. Every single person on this call has cancer cells in their body. Every single person on this call has inflammation, disease, has something not right, a creaky joint, this. We all have it. But those of us who are not focused on it, too busy focused on other things. And that includes those that have some diagnosis. Hey? So you must. There's no other way. You must. You're going to go live. Because it's possible, hey? Like, it's not bigger than you. You're bigger than that. You're an infinite potential. You're an infinite potential that's going to have multiple lifetimes and all sorts of things. And you're not going to give the power to one physical body that might be here for not so much longer or whatever. You're not going to do that. You're bigger than that. Very important. Very important. Okay, so moving over to page 34. Page 34. And then we've got big exercise happening. So make sure you're in the Facebook group. YouTube, you're not going to be able to see me do the demonstration, just the way that the tech's set up. So if you're on YouTube right now and you're hearing this, jump into the Facebook group, please. We have posted the link for you. Okay, the final content for today is there is a true common denominator in all success and failure. And that common denominator is not a person, or it is not you. Many of us have made up a story or a narrative Enigma, the best process is the double bubble process. Thank you. Well, if that's not your name. Sorry, I just read that it's Enigma Business and Health. and I referred to you as Enigma. That's quite funny. I just read it as a first name. That is funny. Anyway, you get it. Double bubble. Yeah, good, great process. You'll find it if you're in the masterclass. You'll find it in your back office. And my favorite one, if you go to the greatest hits, which is the 15 most voted on greatest hits from 2020. Roche, we do need to do greatest hits number 2. Yeah. So the greatest hits, we asked everyone last June to vote on their favorite sessions over the last 2 years. And they did, and those were the top 15 votes. So very cool. So we need to do we need to do a 2021 greatest hits, and I think it'll be fun to have you guys all vote and tell us which ones you love the most. Galit's from a few weeks ago, incredible. That's awesome. She is incredible. Okay, so many people think they have a saying. They say, in all of my failure, I'm the common denominator. They say, in all of my failure, I'm the common denominator. And that is true for them. But they're also the common denominator in all of their other successes. So it's not a very scientific thing. They say, but Chris, I'm the common denominator. Every time I do business, it's me. I'm always there. I'm like, yeah, that's true. If you were truly the common denominator, then how come you're not the only one on the whole planet struggling with creating what you love? It just doesn't hold up, does it? How many of you know other people that are also struggling in different areas of their life to create what they love? It's not just you. We all think it must be something wrong with me. No, it's not. There is a significant difference in what you do when you create and what you do when you create success and what you do when you create failure. So we're going to be doing a process on this, and it's a big process. You will find out the difference between how you are when you create versus success versus how you are when you create failure, because it's not you. It's not you. It's your orientation. It's your focus. And guess what? Skull you drink. It's structure. Oh, wheatgrass. Super conscious drinking game, right? I'm Irish. We always find a way to have a drink. Okay. So the common denominator in all failure is a problem-orientated structure that the now is not good enough, okay? Or said differently, the future will be better, okay? So we're going to do an exercise about uncovering the truth and uncovering the structure. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. You should watch me do this one-on-one and not do it yourself. And a percentage of you are going to ignore that and do it yourself. And that's okay. However, that is what I would say is the best way to do it. After I do it with one person, I'm going to be doing it with all of you. Does that sound good? Cool. So, if you would like to be the one person I work with, there are a couple requirements. 1, you must be 100% okay that I will use this for this video for marketing material if I choose to use it for marketing material, and you will have to live that you might see this video on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere. Okay? That's the first rule. Okay? You don't have to be okay with it because you don't have to join I'm only going to work with one person, and then we're going to all do it as a group, and you'll just get to go through it yourself. All right? So I'm just making sure that, we do this video and I go, wow, that was a great video. I want to put that on YouTube. I don't get a message from you in 2 years' time saying, hey, Chris, I don't actually want that out there anymore. So I'm on record. And so, if you agree, you're agreeing to this. Okay, cool. The second thing, I'm sure it's fair enough. And I'm sure that just had a lot of people go, well, good. I'm not going to do it then, because then that's just good. Okay. The second thing is you must have good audio. You must have good audio. I will stop working with you if, and so right now you might need to move. If there are dogs barking, chickens being chickens, kids running around, scratchy internet, interrupting spouses, children being children, lawnmowers, anything that's going to be a non-good experience for everyone. Okay, fair enough. And I'll say, hey, I'm really sorry, but that's not the right sound for me, and we'll end it. Okay, fair enough. So if you want to be picked and you need to say, hey, I'm going to try to get picked to be this, you need to make sure, don't come interrupt me. Third, video. We want to see you. We want to be able to experience that. So you do need to have good video on. Not sitting at the beach with your hair blowing everywhere. We want to have a good video. And I know I'm putting a lot of rules down, but there's hundreds of you on here, so I just got to make sure I tell you how I want it. Fair enough? Fair enough, isn't it? And I'm only going to work with one, so even if you ticked all the rules, it's very unlikely that it's you anyway. So good video quality is good. I prefer if you are inside and those sort of things. So that's good. No one walking around behind you, blah, blah, blah. Cool. And last couple of things, good internet, so making sure you do have good internet so that we can have a good conversation, and because I'm going to be asking lots of questions, and it's going to be fun. And then finally, just be willing and open to be an absolutely great participant, and you're going to be part of this event forever, and being open and willing to share vulnerably and answer tough questions. And really, you're going to be part of setting the theme, or setting the tone for this whole exercise. Cool? All good. All right, good. So if you'd like it, do the little hand up. And I'm just going to super consciously pick who it's going to be. So typically, so I'll be looking at the hand ups in just a second. I can see there's 156 of you with your hands up, and someone's name will jump out at me. Angela Reader, I think it's you. Angela Reader, I kept on scrolling and coming back to your name. I think it's you. Where is she? Here she is. Angela Reader, I think it is you. Angela, are you able to unmute? You're able to turn your video on? I think it's you.
Hi.
All right, 1 second. One second.